What is going on, Internet? And welcome to OnlyCops. We are here on the wonderful and magnanimous Tuesday stream. I'm having to ride solo this evening, so you guys will get, I guess, very scatterbrained attempt at me. I'm going to go ahead and try to get all of my hellos out of the way while I'm sure everyone is berating me for being like 30 seconds late. And to be fair, given that this is a police stream, technically on time is late. Like they run on that. It's Tom Landry time for those of us that live in Texas, but on the for the non-Texas people, it's like military standards for being on time. But I like to think that y'all complain to me because you miss me and you appreciate the stream. So, anyways, one is a big shout out to my new notepad. I am here taking scorekeeping very, very seriously. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. I'm going to scroll up. I do believe, I can't see the very, very top one, but Feder Pals, I believe, did get first place. He's also a YouTube member. What is going on? Hardy is number 2, and Control X or CLRX is number 3. And he is pointing out to, I'm sure, producer Juan, who's at the very bottom of this chat, that we have not had a rookie reaction in a minute. You can complain and put all of your complaints in Juan's box. He is the one responsible for that. We have a couple. I don't think that we have too many left in the queue. So that is partially on me and Bill for needing to make time to record some more. But that's on us. Sharkbait, hello. Notorious Cody Smalls, it is good to see you. Chris Lawrence, Sam Pookie, Christy C, producer Juan, who gave a foist. Or forced. I'm going to say forced. There's no I in there. Jordan. I said hi to Christy C. Nene Walker, 2 weeks into the new rookie episode. Let's see. I'm going to skim. Notorious Emu, as emus never say die. I'm assuming that's a Goonies reference. FAFO. I missed him, dude. He's been here and been here in a minute. Lapete, Little Duck. I'm scrolling. People are talking about me pooping. I'm glad Notorious Emu also gave me the benefit of the doubt that I washed my hands. That is a stretch. Abby Snoop, it's good to see you. Welcome. If you're new to here, the other Dan is here. Dan62. He hit me with a hi hello. Alex is here. Styx is here. The Dan Hammer is here. The funny thing with Dan, I've been trying to move like mod responsibilities, and YouTube specifically hates Dan and won't let me find his account. Bro, Seabass, what's going on? He hit me with a hero. Peewoo, Straw 8 Berry, or 8 Burry, really, not Berry. There's a U there. I think I said hi to everybody. Shawshank, it's good to see you. Effin Mint has not been here in a hot minute. It is good to see you, my friend. I think that's everybody. Pretty sure. John C., I almost missed you as I'm scrolling. And Robert Carson, congratulations to all caps lock there. Today we are doing the Tuesday stream. This is the law enforcement Jason stream. I want to give a big special shout out to my vigilantes who have given me all of the clips that you are watching today. So if you have complaints about those clips, you can put that in the complaint box. Some of them are in the blue or green category in your chat. I'm going to go ahead and start the scorecard off with the feds being at negative 100 per the usual in honor of Keith. I'm going to have State Boys. There will be nobody here to play that stupid State Boys theme. It's not stupid. I like State Boys song, but county will have municipals. Media, which I will also include Juan into, which is fine if he decides to be a snarky. The Zolito, apparently being sussy. And savory salmon. Salmon by itself, I don't know that it's actually savory. But what's going on? William is also here. And Mac Daddy, my dog. Nose Nuggets, bro. Everybody's coming out. It's good to see you guys. Drop a like if you get a chance. Society will also get a score. Society. And then I don't think, suspects is who I'm forgetting. Suspects. Okay. We're going to get started with the clips. Stupid. Municipals -1 for, you know what, Sticks? I'll take that. I'll go ahead and take the -1 for me being 30 seconds late. With the, I can't see the way I have the window set up. I can't see the soundboard, but if I could for y'all, I'll go ahead and do it. Complaints going in the circular file. Automatic deduction of 100 points to the feds for FEMA. You know what? I'll take another 100 away. That's fine. So the feds are at -200 currently. Anyways, we'll get started on this and see how we're doing. Again, complaint to one about Officers Reacts, although they're very, very busy this month. So I have a little bit more pity. You will not get complaints. Everybody here in the chat is singing the State Boys song. There it is. Anyways, I'll go ahead and get started with these. And then in the after party, some of our guys here actually set up a 5M server. +1 since I made the stream. You know what? I'll give it to you, Mint. I'll get you +2. We're going to be at +1 overall here since Mint made the stream for the first time in like 3 months. -1,000 for Josh. That's too bad. You have to be on stream or editing and contributing to the group if you're going to make score contributions.
Somebody called the police on this kid while he was looking for yard work to save up for a PlayStation. Impressed by how respectful and honest the kid was?
Jeez, look at how enormous this guy is. His shoulders are at the top of this Explorer. That's wild.
Officer Colleran decided to buy the kid the game console he wanted. Somebody called the police.
I like feel good stories. I know I already see Dan being like fluff, dumb. I think I think there are times where you can make an impact on kids that are maybe in like a really uneasy situation. You'd imagine like their parents are kind of shitbags, and that happens. You have like a really cool kid, but the parents are terrible. My only caveat to buying something expensive for somebody that's going to live... this kid doesn't look like he's living in the ghetto, but if there was a kid that was living in the ghetto, do not get them something expensive because they're going to get robbed. That is just the nature of the beast. I can't tell how many times like people would buy a kid a bike and the bike would get stolen like within a week. If you could find like a covert way of doing it, then yes. But like making a show of it... fortunately, this is just a good kid trying to raise money, so I'm here for it. I will, this municipals?
Police on this kid while he was looking for yard work to save up for a PlayStation.
Yeah, this is municipal. This isn't county.
Impressed.
I get to claim this. We'll +5 it. Why not? So we're at +6 on municipals. +2 for media for State Boys. I'll allow it. I will give media +2 for State Boys since you guys are asking for it. Dan already hit it with the fluff. How much are they getting? I know PS5 money is a lot of money. Maybe he put it on the credit card. -10 deaf admin. What they call the cops for? I don't know. I guess the kid soliciting. Technically, there would be some caveat to soliciting if the kid's going door to door asking to mow people's lawns, but if it's not a business doing it, I'm probably not getting after him for it. Finally made it to stream. Vectro, it is good to see you. I said, been binge watching most of the recent streams. Glad to see it Tuesday. Well, we're happy to have you here, dog. Osa's FD. Oh, Seabass Smith just bought a mag for $300. What's it for? Also hope to see a good arrest today. We will see about arrests. A mag for $300 has to be a pretty rare magazine. We'll see which category I decide to put this in, depending on what happens here. I'm gonna back this up. We'll see.
Hey, Ben, you doing okay, buddy? Shut up!
What's his problem?
Remember a week ago when he put my bed in the bay?
Yeah?
I hit a radio in the ceiling of his bunk room, and every 30 minutes or so, I do this. Beep. Ah! He hasn't slept in weeks.
Can I try it?
Yeah.
Beep.
Where is
I'm gonna say
What's his
that's really the difference between what I would consider good police officers, because there's bad police officers that do a poor job of controlling their emotions. But yeah, FD, you don't need to be emotionally stable to be a firefighter. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on media, not FD, because I don't like to give them points if I can avoid it. I'm gonna give them a solid like +5 for that. That's pretty solid here. We're at +7 for media. That counts because this guy's more of an influencer than he probably is. Oh, for the SVT? Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense why it's expensive. Especially if it's authentic. -1, State Boys for being allowed on scene. Documentary on Ronnie Coleman. That's a big cop. Ronnie Coleman, weird fun fact, was a police officer at the exact same police department that me and Bill were. We were all Arlington police officers here in Arlington, Texas. Not at the same time. I think he was a cop like in the early 90s, getting into the 2000s, versus we were late 2010s. Kimini, it's good to see you. I learn something every day. Let's see what this is.
Who had the shiniest head? So one of the officers decided to turn on his headlights.
Oh my God.
These police officers were trying to figure out who had the shiniest head. So one of the officers decided to turn on his headlights.
Oh my God!
To be fair, here. I mean, like, if it's a bright flashlight, it doesn't matter. But, like, I feel like I'm going to take points away on this one. Christian Halsey, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to take points away just for having this kind of time on here. I'm just going to take one away. I do believe this is municipals. Yeah, I'm just docking one here. I have beef with them having this much free time. I'm bitter because I was a big city cop and we never had free time. Well, I'm not going to say never had free time, but we didn't do this. This chick. Who is this chick? Big Killer. FEMA gets -1 million. We've addressed it. Dylan is also here. Welcome. Josh is Phoenix UC30. Hey, the UC35 is a good ass flashlight. I will not hear any sass talking about that flashlight, although I am a Streamlight guy. Pennsylvania State Police training video. This is 6 minutes. This is State Boys. You will not get the theme song. You will have to. It's a free speech for the win. We'll keep going.
The Pennsylvania State Police Academy is considered one of the most progressive police training facilities in the country. As a cadet, your first week at the academy.
Is this as high a quality as this gets? Yes, 240p is what we're getting here, boys and girls. I couldn't make out what I was looking at first, and then I realized it was a person swimming. It took me a second.
Will include a preliminary swimming test in which you must demonstrate your ability to perform a series of swimming skills. You must demonstrate your ability to swim continuously for an extended period of time, performing strokes on your front, back, and side. You must demonstrate the skills of deep water entry, treading water, clothing disrobing, and victim and self-rescue. These skills are required to successfully complete the State Police Basic Water Rescue course. A cadet's day begins at 5:30 a.m. with a cross-country run and alternates daily with a swimming and calisthenics.
I truly think that waking up early is overrated, mostly because there's still police work that has to get done in the evening. But I find it odd, and it's military people, but two, police are in the same category, where it's like this badge of, we're going to wake up early and we're going to do whatever. And it's like, well, just being awake for a long period of time is impressive. I don't care when you're waking up. I always found that weird. Like, come back at me when you have to do this at 4 o'clock in the morning when you've been up for 10 or 15 hours already. Hit me with that.
Training program. The Progressive Running Program is designed to strengthen the cardiovascular and cardiorespiratory systems of the cadets, as well as increase their aerobic capacity. A cadet must average approximately 9 minutes per mile by the completion of training.
9 minute miles are not slow? It's not fast. That's a pretty good pace. 9-minute miles, you're running or jogging at least.
Men served breakfast in the academy's dining hall. After
-5 for immediate. No, because this is probably a very old video. So this was top of the line. This is also probably compressed because it got uploaded or recorded on a screen or something. I'm not going to dock media for that.
which they report to their morning duty assignments. All cadets are required to assist in maintaining the academy facilities. Their duties consist of maintaining the academy gymnasium, locker rooms, fitness room, and training tank, buffing floors, kitchen and dining hall service, staffing the communications desk, as well as kennel and stable duty. Besides duty assignments, cadets must also maintain, in accordance with established rules and regulations, their personal appearance, rooms, issued equipment, and personal belongings, all of which are subject to periodic inspections by Academy staff. Throughout a cadet's training, they're subject to unannounced urine drug tests. Submitting to this test is mandatory, and any cadet who fails will be immediately dismissed. By 8 a.m., cadets are in their respective classrooms where they receive extensive training in accident investigation, vehicle law, and criminal law. A passing grade of 70% or higher must be achieved in all academic courses to graduate. It is the responsibility of each cadet to adhere to the strict time schedules at the Academy when reporting for assigned duties and training classes. The Pennsylvania State
Top of the
Police
line
is a
of the
paramilitary
Reagan
organization,
administration.
and as
Y'all are out of
such,
pocket.
military courtesy and discipline are practiced. All cadets will be informed of department and academy rules and regulations which govern a member's actions during their training and employment with the department.
This music kind of crushes me too, to be fair. Joe Schmo, what's going on?
During a cadet's training at the Pennsylvania State Police Academy, they spend many hours devoted to firearms qualification. Cadets must qualify with their issued firearm by scoring a 75% or higher of the total possible.
This like funny. So what they're doing is scanning. This is like a funny. I don't want to call it a training scar because it's an important like mindset. But you'll shoot the gun. Right, I'm gonna use my pen as a gun here, right? So you bang, 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 and then you sweep. And this idea of sweeping is to look and see, like, to technically like check your area, but this does nothing for your situational awareness. But you'll see people that get in the habit of doing this weird sweep every single time they shoot a gun, and that kind of cracks me up. I know there's like a methodology to it, and they're like, well, you should check your surroundings. You also, this was real popular in like the early 2000s, where you would shoot, and to check your surroundings, you would literally see guys go. And every single time they shot a gun, and it was like it creates a bit of a training scar because you'd imagine if the threat was here, I get into the shooting and now I'm automatically checking. I have no idea what's going on in front of me with the person that I just thought was a deadly threat. It's a weird thing. Training's a weird thing.
Score. State troopers are required to requalify twice a year throughout their career.
0 bad guys were
Troopers
caught
will be
during the
required to
making of
carry a
this.
firearm, and it
It's
may
an
be
academy.
necessary for you to use this weapon in self-defense or in protecting others. Use of deadly force is a consideration, and if you cannot assume that responsibility, the Pennsylvania State Police is not for you. In addition to passing the academics and firearms course, cadets must also pass a CPR and first aid course.
Bro, CPR, though it has changed since the 80s, these dummies have not.
With an 80% or higher score. As a trooper, driving is a necessary and important function. After receiving skill training in pursuit tactics and the most current driving methods, cadets must successfully pass a driving proficiency test. Throughout a cadet's stay at the academy, they endure an intensive physical training program which includes strength and conditioning,
I didn't see a single real push-up that whole time.
self-defense, and defensive countering techniques. To graduate, cadets must pass a
Bro, DT has changed a lot, which is defensive tactics.
They endure an intensive physical.
That's not, none of these are like, this guy's not doing a push-up. Anyways, I was gonna move. I'm making fun of push-ups right now, but I'm gonna move to what I saw here. That is not all the way down. This is close to a real push-up. This guy's for sure doing a real push-up. This guy was for sure like in the Marines or something, because it's like a very erect posture for a push-up. I'm gonna say all of these sit-ups count. But there was one boxing is, I don't want to say a stupid skill to have as a police officer, but you shouldn't be getting in a 0-0. Pat, I love it.
Self-defense and defense.
This is a terrible idea for a takedown. Like, I'm going to knee in front of somebody where I'm totally getting punched in the face or choked out, or like if unless you were shooting to take that leg, which would be more of like a wrestling technique where you're like shooting to specifically take a leg and sweep it. This is a weird technique that I'm going to pin the heel and push on the hip. Because like, what if he posts out from this? Like, I'm on my knees here. I'm not like on my feet or anything like that. I'm not like up on my back. Like, it's a weird. I don't think this would work in the streets, but this was taught at what this is most state agencies, like the top tier for training for a state. Most of your deputies or your county and then municipal level training is going to come from this. They get more money than almost anybody does per cadet. So this is. Ugh.
Techniques. To graduate, cadets must pass a.
Plus, if you're arresting Mike Tyson and you try to box him, that's a terrible idea.
This test, which includes a battery of physical activities, which will evaluate their stamina and strength. Near the conclusion of training, cadets will have an opportunity.
You tell me if it's a pass or fail. So, again, search tactics have also changed. We could shout out and thank the military for this. This would have been considered socially acceptable. They're showing it in a training video, right? Where more modern search tactics, right, would dictate that you have a long cover person and then somebody that's working whatever doorway or opening or whatever you're doing. Food for thought. We talk about getting online and not shooting from the back of the bus, right? This guy likely should be shoulder and shoulder with this guy and covering this hallway, not pointing a gun at the back of his head while he's quick peeking corner. It's just weird. This has nothing to do with the cadets are just doing what they're trained to do, but it tells you that police training's not always correct. That just because the state says it's right doesn't make it actually right. You probably also see this in low-level military training. You probably see a lot of that.
Opportunity to apply their newly acquired knowledge and abilities while participating in scenario training. Academy instructors and field troopers will closely monitor and evaluate the cadets on how well they handle a variety of police-related incidents. Successful completion of training culminates in a graduation ceremony. The cadet is promoted to the rank of trooper and will join the ranks of the first and finest state police organization in our country. The new trooper may be assigned a field and trooper assignment. Specialized completed their probationary state trooper.
Okay, Pennsylvania State. I'm done with the rest of this. I'm gonna go ahead and take. I'm gonna take -2 away from the state boys here, just for showing some weird stuff. Did I miss anything? Did they get points for keeping their hat on? Yes, in training, I do believe it. If someone did that in the military, they would get their attitude adjusted judiciously, as they should. -150 for that. I'm not, again, they are applying what their level of training was. They have instructors that are telling them this is exactly how you're going to do it. There was I only took 2 because these were just cadets doing what they were trained to do. And I would also argue, if you look back in the 70s, in the 80s, they had no reference material. You might get somebody that's coming out of, the Marine Corps or something like that, that might have some of that training. But if they're new, they're not going to be able to take that training to the training center and that training center, allow it. The state's going to allow what's going to be considered kosher training for police officers. It's the reason why I think we're still probably, especially when you look at what I would consider real de-escalation training or real search tactics, radio communications. I would say police departments are probably still 10 to 15 years behind where your frontline military soldier would be, as far as some of these weird tactics are, just because it's not a big part of their job. You're probably 50 years ahead of society because they never do it. But -5 for admin. You know what? Okay. I'm going to add the score here. Negative 150, and then what was the other one? Negative 5. So it's negative 155 for admin for allowing shitty training like that. I'll allow that. Admin. Negative 155. Because I don't want to blame the troopers or the training staff because they don't know any better. I think I saw Keith in here somewhere. Keith better be here somewhere. Did I miss anything important? Primary officer sponsor be ghosted. Yeah, that was not a great look. This looks like at least 720p. So the city of Georgetown. This is their police explorers. Let's lower our expectations now. I'm ready though.
Wanted to drive up that.
Wait, let's start this off real quick. There should not be the rank of this is past lieutenant. What's 2 bars? Somebody in the military tell me what 2 bars means. They're like a higher ranking lieutenant. It's not captain because that's like a star. Anyways, this guy's got like a sergeant's pen, I guess, on his collar. That's a weird place to put that, at least for police standards. And then this guy's got 2 bars. That's weird.
Up that.
We can do the side right here. Well, basically, I've always wanted to become a police officer.
You don't
ever
say.
Since I can remember. And I thought this would be a great way to get good experience and get my foot in the door.
Hear that guy peel out?
Yep.
I'll be glad when we get there.
Captain. Major? Captain.
Line him up.
Oh man,
What happened?
we're being stopped by the police.
The Police Explorer program is
Stars
particularly
major.
for young adults that are ages 14 to 21.
Everyone through
to
Captain.
gain experience and knowledge.
I love you guys.
Fields for criminal justice and in law enforcement.
There was this time when I was in academy, and I was lucky enough. They had a position called, it was your academy, like, I didn't call him a counselor. If Bill was here, he'd remind me. But we basically had a corporal that they pulled off the street, and that corporal was assigned to our academy class. And his sole job was to just kind of meter our expectations for what the actual job was going to be like. He's really, really cool dude. Shout out to Corporal Dalton. But he, one of the things he said, he's like, a lot of what you guys are learning as far as penal code and policy stuff is very, very good. A lot of that stuff's going to translate. All of the other shit, he kind of would, he'd look deeply into our eyes. He's like, you're not going to use any of that shit on the street. And he would kind of meter some of that expectations. Now they're recording a training video, so they're probably trying to do it as by the book as possible. But the second both of them at the exact same time took off their seatbelts, I'm like, dog, you're in a city street. Why is your seatbelt on to begin with? Anyways, I've gone code without my seatbelt on. I've driven almost in excess of 100 miles per hour without a seatbelt on. Ask me why.
Everyone try.
Oh, they're doing radio. My dog.
3500 Deweywood Road, David Paul David, 8378.
That's actually a good rep. That was good radio traffic. I'm a +1 to society for that radio traffic. That was very good. Good job, kiddo. I'm going to make fun of your funny approach to this, but shout out to him. Also, with how quickly his partner got out of the car, it is how they teach it. The role here is that you want your boot to touch the ground before the suspects can. When the vehicle comes to a stop, and it's because if this is going to turn into a shootout, I don't want to be stuck in my car. Good on him for that, though.
We do emergency vehicle operations training where they get to actually,
Why? Because I'm the police and I can.
as long as they're a licensed driver, they get to drive a patrol car and go through our emergency vehicle operations course.
An open door over here.
We get to do some active shooter training.
I got the closet.
This is also a training scar likely. That's the Sewell position, right? And I'm okay with a low ready on Sewell. This really, really compressed. You see John Wick and people like this do this. These kids are not that. You can punch right back out, especially if you're having to do like a really long search. He just doesn't have much to do. I would try to clear my muzzle as much as I could from these guys. It's not a bad thing. It's just a weird thing.
Learn hands-on techniques for handcuffing, defensive tactics. Learning
Pinky
the
first,
laws,
kiddo.
penal-
Just want to
Learn
showcase something
hands-on
here.
techniques for handcuffing.
So not terrible on controlling the hands. I'm not mad. He is in a complied handcuffing position.
Defensive tactics.
But one of the things they teach is always try to go. I have a set of cuffs. I have a set of cuffs here. Hold on. When you're applying handcuffs, kiddos, try to go pinky first, because when you get the pinky on, you now have a lot more movement in your wrist. This is also like how you hold everything, whether it's a mug or whatever. You don't hold very many things this way. And so if you just aim, get the pinky on, the other one should be a lot easier. You also have more reach that way. It's just the way that your wrist, hands, and hand-eye coordinations develop. Always do pinky first. That's just an easy advice. That's actually taught in ASP training, which I think is the only standardized, formalized training for handcuffing. ASP, before you guys get weird. And no, they're not fuzzy. But it prevents that. The second he put on that first handcuff, because he went thumb or index finger first, right now he's not controlling this arm at all. This guy easily spins around, and now you're likely getting punched in the face, and you've given him a free bracelet, I guess. Also, this secondary officer, unless there's more people involved, like let's say there's a crowd of people and you're having to do crowd control, then you're kind of boned. You have to handcuff them by yourself. But if there's no other individual party involved, he can very easily come over here and hold and secure this arm to make sure that they're safe. That is the way we were taught. Don't be here minding your business and being a model, like help in the arrest. Even if the guy's 100% compliant, doesn't matter.
Learning the laws, penal
Path.
codes,
What's going on, William?
criminal procedures, which allows us to do what we do as police officers.
This is a template that I want you to kind of review, go over and over and over in your head.
So it gives them that entire spectrum of what we do. Not only
FAFO. He said he's doing exactly what the backup officer does. Oh my god, that's funny. We were taught that it also gives you more control. You have a harder time. Yeah, dude, using the cuff as a weapon, again, you can really only do that if you get the pinky first. If you do this one first, it gets pulled out of your hand pretty easily. He's observing. Oh, you know what? If it's like a training environment, maybe he's just observing. He's supposed to, but
only the fun stuff that you see on TV and on cops, but actually the
Aspen
foundation and the
instructor.
basis for our jobs.
Hello, Officer Johnson, Georgetown Police Department. The reason for your stop today is your speed back there. It's a 30-mile-an-hour zone.
Oh man, I wasn't paying
See your
attention.
license proof insurance?
It's great.
I'll be honest too, something you might look at, and this just tells you that, and it's fine. I'm glad they're getting reps. I'm not going to make fun of police explorers, but I guarantee you, if I can go back far enough without skipping it, it's the only thing I hate about some of these videos. See where his line of sight is, he's not going to be able to see anything here. He might be able to see like the driver's side panel, but he's not going to be able to see here or at the passenger's feet. He also, like if this is a very heavily tinted car, he's also not going to be able to see anybody in this back seat. And as a cover officer, notice both of their attention is on the primary officer. I'd actually get all up in this window to try to see, one, from an interdiction standpoint, I'm trying to see if I can see anything in plain view. But two, I want to have a better look in as much of this car as I can possibly see. Most of your responsibility is going to be the driver, the center console, and the feet area, and the back seat. That primary officer's job is going to be obviously the driver, who has a lawful detention on, handling all of them, verbally at least. And then you might be able to see, I'm pointing at the screen like y'all are going to be able to see it, down here at the passenger's lap. You might be able to see that. But like, this has to do with, again, he's just observing. They're not used to doing actual investigations and stuff like that. I've also had my backup officer at times switch to, like, we had CIC, so it was a different radio channel to do like background, like a more in-depth radio traffic. If I don't want to run everybody over the radio, it's something it's important. But it is a nice 7-step.
It's great.
FAFO, I'll
We
give
get
them that.
to do felony traffic
Slap the
stops,
wrist like TV.
early in progress, active shooter. We get to go to competitions. We get to help out community.
Go ahead. Last name at Witcher, William Ida Tom, Charles, Henry Edward Robert.
We would also get complained at for not putting our hands on the steering wheel. When you're reading off a card, you don't want to be so absorbed in what you're doing that you lose track of what, especially once you're in your patrol car. If I'm going to go all the way back to my patrol car, they don't have an NDC, but typically you can type it in. I only did it over the radio if I was going to stay out with the car and couldn't go back to my patrol car. Most of the time, and this is just a municipal here talking, I didn't get on the radio unless I absolutely needed to, because there was like 40 of us sharing that radio channel. I would just go back to my car and run it on the NBC, but he doesn't have that option. And this is harder to do, is just getting reps on the radio and calling stuff out phonetically, but also like a weird quirk. This will become a training scar for him. I guarantee you he gets into real policing and every single cop out there is like, why the fuck are you running them on the radio if you're in your car? It's like a weird thing you have to undo. This is where training scars, and why I think training needs to be done by people, or at least advised upon by officers currently in the job. I would like to pull at least like a 3 or 4 year officer off the street and have them observe a lot of this stuff so you can dispel some of the things that they're learning to make sure that they're not doing it in a weird way and getting 100 reps doing it a way that you would almost never do it on the street.
So before I was an explorer.
Squirtle, what's going on?
Really didn't.
That's his junk.
Now that we've done the active shooter and stuff, it really requires you to be loud and talk to other people. Getting up.
That is not an escort position. If he wanted to start running, you are not going to stop him by simply holding his hands. You need to get up on this arm.
Getting up in front
but
of
he's being
other
compliant, which is
explorers,
fine.
talking to them, it really gets you going.
I've seen my kids grow from making the arrest.
Where they go? Great job, kiddos. There you go. I'm gonna leave them a positive comment. Look at them. Georgetown's gonna be municipals. I'm gonna give them. I'll give them a +5 for just being proactive about trying to do some recruiting and I don't know, giving somebody something to do. They should get a salty cop to be non-compliant. 1,000%. We actually, when we did our scenario training in academy, they pulled guys out of narcotics. So we had a special division for narcotics. So they did a lot of undercover work. They only dealt with people that had pretty heinous warrants and stuff like that. So they were used to the less clean side of policing. And so they made for way better actors. You also would randomly get like retired cops. You imagine Keith being your acting guy who just like says some heinous off the wall stuff. But it was very good. I thought it was very good training. These kids are in explorers, so it's not like police academy. So you're not an employee. You're likely not an adult either. So there's certain material stuff that you're not going to be able to get exposed to just because they're minors still. Special Forces 2, actually not a bad idea, to be honest. The only downside is going to be military guys in general are used to military training environments where they're not as worried about injury as you are when you're like technically all police officers, even at the state level, are city or government employees that are working for like an HR department. Like it's just a very different deal. They're worried about having to take you to the hospital. They're worried about all that stuff where the government, like when you're in the military, they don't give a shit. They probably try to injure you to some degree. And so you have to have certain protocol in place, or at least adjust their expectations for injury. But I think from like it's like an attitude standpoint, I think it's a good deal. Okay. What is this? We're on TikTok. Whoa.
God damn, I'm tired of the police, man. Hey, don't do all the disrespectful bullshit you did last time we got pulled over. Remember, you are a chocolate man in America. Don't do all that entitled vanilla bullshit. It will not work. Chill. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, man, what the hell you pulling us over for? You ain't got nothing better to do?
Porter, don't do that entitled vanilla bullshit. Did you not understand? My apologies, officer. My friend a little cranky right now. Don't do that shit.
It's all right. We all have our bad days. The reason I pulled you over was speeding. Can I please see your license registration? No, what's your badge number?
What you want his badge number for?
In case I need it.
You wouldn't even know what to do with a badge number. Huh? What you gonna do? Type it in your phone and call it? You just asking for that shit because that's what you see people on TV ask for. It's ain't difficult to pass your license registration, for God's sake.
No.
What?
Sir, please don't make this harder than it needs to be. Can I please just see your license registration? No, I want to talk to you when a car supervisor.
Supervisor for what? What the And he's not telling you right now. He gonna ask for the same shit. Your license and registration. So you might as well stop being difficult and pass it to bro right here.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
What's the matter with you, man?
All right, sir, please step out the car. No, you don't have the right to ask me to step out the car.
I'll step out the car right now, Mr. Officer. It ain't just for me to step out. I'll step out right now.
Sir, it's either step out or I'm gonna pull you out. I dare you to touch me. Touch me and see what happens.
Why is you daring this man to do shit? This is not truth or dare. Officer, I don't dare you to do a goddamn thing. I'll step out the car right now and do whatever you tell me to do. You know, you can tell me to drop it like I said. I don't give a damn. I'll throw that shit back. What you want me to do?
He said, "I'll throw it back."
Listen, I ain't going to jail. Step out the car. Get out the car. Get out the car. Get out the car. Don't touch me, bro. You're under arrest. Hands behind your back. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. All you had to do was pass that man your license registration and you would have been on your way home. But no, you wanted to be difficult. Now look at you. You finna get thrown into a cage like a wild animal. You so goddamn stupid. Officer, can I go?
I'm gonna give +10 to media. That was pretty good. I think it's auditing channels. Where's media? Media +10. Bro, they're at 17, dog. Media's kind of crushing. +100 for suspect. Passenger suspecting. You know what? I'll give him that. I'll give +10 to suspects, even though it's fake suspect for fake suspecting. The idea behind auditing, right, or being a professional auditor, or social media giving you this way of monetizing being an auditor, or lawsuits, or whatever you call it, really didn't exist much outside of there's certain things in the social, like the civil rights movement, that was kind of like that. But in the internet age, really, there was a lot of people that did it for open carry. In Texas, I think we had Tyler Open Carry. It was kind of the first onset of that, and most of them were a bunch of douchebags. But there were some people that had very legitimate constitutional questions and were trying to raise constitutional arguments against what the police were doing or trying to enforce, right? First Amendment or I guess they'd be Fourth and Fifth Amendment auditors. It's a bit more complicated. But the prevalence of them on social media, especially when you're having to deal with law enforcement, has created this like knee-jerk reaction for people to just fight outright. And they now have like a script that they have learned through watching social media on what to do to just argue with the police, whether they have a legitimate argument or not. And then the whole I know my rights thing, it's neither here nor there, but shout out to them. Okay. But yeah. But shout out to them. Technically, the open carry Tyler guys did create constitutional carry in Texas. They were a big reason for that. Shout out to them. Might have been a pain in the ass, but they did get their way at the end.
A Florida police officer's act of kindness brought this woman to tears.
I was really happy because like I'm trying so hard and it's just like everything's falling apart. But for once, something good happened.
Don't make me.
Jessica Madras is homeless, and one night while she was at work, her bike was taken.
I thought my husband had took it at first, and then realized.
Bro, we can't have anything in these streets. Is this also at 140p for some reason? There we go.
Realized that a customer had walked out of the store and took my bicycle.
Officer Amelia Wasinski of the Sarasota Police Department responded to the call, but says there wasn't much she could do at the time.
Unfortunately, we couldn't recover the bike, and I felt really inclined.
But this officer's heart went out to Madras, who is pregnant and struggling to get back on her feet.
She shouldn't be walking that far every day, and she's like trying, and I appreciate that so much, and I wanted to make it easier for her.
Tires are fixed up really good, Tom.
She worked with the Salvation Army and used money from her own pocket to get Madras a new bike.
This is an act of kindness, and I'm not trying to be shitty, but this is far from a new bicycle. And secondarily, it's a trike. It's not a bike. There's 3 wheels here.
Officer Wasinski
But this is also probably safer given that she's pregnant.
personally delivered it to her at work, along with new bike lights and a bike lock. This expecting mom was touched by the gift.
And with me being
Atlas, what's going on?
It really helps. It really matters.
More fluff, I'll allow
Badgers
it.
will at least have an easier time getting to work thanks to one officer going above and beyond the call of duty.
I'm only gonna give her 3 because it's not a new bicycle. But she did get it herself, and she went the economic route. But she gave her something that's also not gonna get stolen. If she's working in the ghetto, it's a 7-Eleven. Let's be honest, it's in the ghetto. But she gave her something that's likely not gonna get stolen, and she didn't just give money, which I think is very, very smart. Municipals, I'm going to give you 3. Mr. Mike Wazowski here. You're only getting 3 from me. That's $20 bike. Hey, man, it's better than nothing. That is better than walking. That it was stolen the day after, maybe, potentially. Echo Sierra, what's going on? That single tattoo covered. Sleep on both sides. Buy her a car. Oh, a car would for sure get stolen there. No, you get 0 points for posting about it. You know what? I'm going to take that from admin. We're going to take another 5. We're at negative 160 for administrators. The one thing I hated, it was the worst accommodation or commendation, should I say, that I ever got at work. We had a 911 story time here. You guys get a free story time. Bill and I were writing 2-man, and we got a 911 hang up in a pretty nice neighborhood. But we showed up. The call text didn't make a lot of sense. And so there was no premise history. There was no nothing. We show up to the house, and we kind of sussed out, because maybe this is an ambush or whatever, because we're weird like that. And these parents answered the phone or answered the door, and I was like, hey, we got a 911 hang up. And they were like, oh, no. And they had a very special needs son. Kid was pretty required mental health resources, right? But he loved police officers. Like, he thought it was the coolest thing ever. So he called, we showed up, we verified that there was nothing going on, and we're like, oh, okay, well, like, we're just glad he's okay. But he was like so pumped, like he wanted to take pictures with us and stuff like that. And I was like, it's fine, whatever. And so Bill and I, neither one of us we have police like pals stickers basically that we had in our old police department. Neither one of us had any on us, and we're like, oh, dude, we need to get this kid some stickers because he like loves the police or whatever. Kid was like 19 years old, had like the mental capacity of like a 4-year-old. And so, like, a shift later, we happened to find one of the detectives had a stack of stickers, so we took a couple. And we just went out and marked out on a call because we had nothing to do at the time. And so we took a quick 10-minute call. We just drove out there. It's within our beat. Knock on the door, and the poor mom opens the door, and she's like, oh, no, not again. She thought he called again. And we're like, no, we're here. We didn't have stickers last time. We wanted to make sure we gave the kid some stickers. And so we hand the kid some stickers and try to dip. Right, because we have stuff to do. And it turns out that this kid's parents were both administrators. One, I think, was TCU PD, like their campus PD. I don't remember. The other one was like Louisville or something like that. But they were local 20-year plus cops. Made us give our like name and badge numbers, which we like. They knew it was policy we had to give them. And our chief heard about it. I think we made the paper or some shit like that. It was adorable, but I hated it because I was like, I didn't do it to go be talked about. I didn't like it because the city ends up using it as like a feel-good fluff story. I just did it because I wanted to make the kid happy. But I'm with you that I hate that stuff. Stickers can diffuse with the mist. I'll agree. Why not? Anyways. Oh, I got to turn up the volume on this. What does this say? This says, guy dominates cops like a pro. First Amendment audit. We'll see.
Would you do field sobriety for me, bud?
No, sure negative, absolutely not. I would take your breathalyzer, pull it out.
I don't have a breathalyzer, bud.
Well, then that's going to be a problem. Breathalyzer? Either of you have a breathalyzer?
No, I'm
then
just
you're going to be in trouble.
Do field sobriety for me, bud.
You want to take me in, bud?
No, I want to make sure you're okay to drive.
I'm 100% okay to drive. See, she's looking through my car right now. She's not going to find anything.
Interesting. I don't know that he necessarily dominated the cops. I mean, if they're trying to prevent him from driving because they believe he's drunk, they're preventing him from potentially committing a DWI. They're asking for the field sobriety stuff. Technically, if he doesn't submit, but they think they have enough to articulate that he's drunk, he'd just go for PI. But he didn't fight any of it. He just said, I'm not going to do the SFSTs, which is both smart and dumb. I mean, it's smart because in that case, the officer now his only recourse is to try to articulate it without failures of those tests. So refusing is fine. That's perfectly within it's not really a First Amendment audit. That's technically a Fourth Amendment audit, which is search and seizure. That is a search of your person. They're trying to give Fifth Amendment would be. Well, I guess no, it would fall under Fifth because you're giving self-incriminating. You can't be compelled to give self-incriminating evidence. You do have to consent to SFSDs. So, like, that's incorrect, factually incorrect. However, the guy did conduct himself pretty well. I'll give, for suspects, I'll give him 1 for not being, no, I'll give him 2. We're at plus 12. I'm going to take points from media, though, because that was very clickbaity. We're at plus 15. I took some points away from media for being incorrect. The smell of nicotine from here. I do buy that. There's definitely a Zen. No, I feel like he'd be a Copenhagen guy, not Zen, because his dad did Copenhagen, and that's why. Certified DUI officer has no breath test. Oh, we didn't actually have, my entire department was certified to do DWIs, and we were not allowed to do breath. We only did blood or SFSTs. We did not do breath where we were at. So that's not unheard of. Also, breath tests are a lot easier to defeat in court. We were in DFW where there was entire law firms dedicated to fighting DWIs. So we had a lot of rich people like to drive drunk. And they were very good at beating those. And the one thing that the Tarrant County's district attorney's office is like, we can barely get these things to ever hold up in court. So they would make us do it the old-fashioned way. Street racing across Canada. We'll see who this is, and I need my Canadians to tell me whether this is state, local, or municipal.
Problematic for police in Canada. The number of charges laid is on track to now surpass last year's record in some parts of the country. CTV's Kamal Karamali reports.
Rubber meets road. A mix of steel, speed, and a surge of adrenaline. Heard miles away. All of it fueled by an audience while chasing clout on social media.
Because if the view count goes up,
we're going to take 5 points away from media for using the word clout. We're at plus 10 for media. Tarrant County. Squirtle, you're not wrong.
Eventually, these social media platforms give you a cut of the ad revenue, and it can be kind of lucrative.
Two hotbeds of street racing and stunt driving are neighboring regions, Peel and Toronto. Last year, Peel police laid more than 1,700 charges, while Toronto police saw more than 1,400 charges.
I don't know where Peel is.
And both regions are expected to see a higher number of charges this year.
It's an everywhere issue.
A concern that cases of street racing and stunt driving are growing fast across the country.
I'm neither here nor there. I think I was very neutral to Tesla stuff until the Tesla truck came out, because then it like defeated the purpose of having an electric car kind of like altogether. But I'll take Society. I'll take 1 from Society for the Tesla truck. We're at 0 on Society. Greater Toronto area.
And recorded online.
Anybody that wants to document their crime, putting other people's lives in danger, certainly police wouldn't say no to that evidence.
In Edmonton, a struggle to stop the speeding when the payoff is public praise. Psychologists say the mix of adrenaline and validation on social media keeps drivers on the pursuit for more likes.
They consulted a psychologist to try to figure out why young people did street racing. I'm just curious what he has to say.
Rewarding feeling that comes from your peers is really powerful for adolescents and young adults.
A problem.
And adults.
Police will continue having trouble putting the brakes on as long as there's a way to show off the dangerous driving, even resulting in copycats.
Every human has this tendency that if they see somebody in some situation behave a certain way, then if they're in that certain situation, they're more likely to behave that way.
Police also putting part of the responsibility on social media giants to restrict and remove any videos that show dangerous driving, saying it'll make their jobs easier and save lives. Kamel Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
I think that's the wrong way to go about solving the issue. I mean, yes, like if you take away the revenue source, like let's say you can't do any type of street racing stuff, period, right? You going to take it away from movies? Are you going to take it away from skits? Like I have beef, and this is a trend where, and it's the government, so they can kind of do whatever the hell they want according to them. But like, they'll go after industry for it, right? Because weed being illegal wasn't effective until they went after the industry for it, right? And obviously, I have a lot of strong opinions on a lot of this stuff, but I think that's a stupid way of approaching it. You could also just kind of do your job. We had street racers, had a lot actually, but that was what we called a self-correcting behavior. The ones who were good at it were good at it and were fine, and the ones that were bad at it died, and we didn't feel no worse for wear. So if that's a region, would that be county or is that state? That'd be state because they have. I'm gonna say it's state, boys. I'm gonna take 5 from state boys for complaining about having to do their job. I heard The Rock was in that movie. He likely was. Hey, shut up. I have like almost an identical truck here.
With an identification card, if you know. So why are you driving with an identification card? If you know that you shouldn't be driving, right? First citation is for exceeding.
I'm never a fan of questions like that. I mean, I get he's trying to get basically a confession out of this guy as to why to make the ticket stick, which I always found kind of scummy. I never really had to work on that kind of stuff, mostly because I had better things to do than to write tickets. But why is someone in a car driving somewhere? Maybe because they need to go there. Like, if they lose their driver's license, right, which I get, and I was less upset about this as long as they were observing traffic laws and weren't being dangerous on the roadway. But, like, why are you driving to your work? Well, because I want to get paid so I can get myself out of the situation or whatever. I don't know. I always find that question's dumb.
The speed limit by more than 20 miles an hour, that's criminal speed. Okay. Your second one is for driving while your license is suspended. Obviously, you know you can't be doing that. And then we just didn't have any current proof of insurance inside the vehicle. Okay. So you have a court date. It's the day after Christmas, so I kicked it out as far as I could for you.
I actually turned myself in on the 6th, December 6th.
For what?
To do 2 years.
What?
Yeah.
You're gonna miss your court date, man. What are you doing 2 years for?
Assault on an officer.
Nice.
Man, you've been cool, man.
That's what I'm saying. So you can kind of see, like, just.
No, man, you're cool.
Getting and you know what I gotta go.
I get it, man. But I appreciate you being cool with me because we don't want to go down that road. Right. Now, Mesa and Chandler, they don't want you, and I don't know why. Because you're a cool dude. I'd want to meet you. Right. But Coolidge does want you, so they want you. So why don't you just put your hands behind your back? Right now, you're gonna be under arrest for an outstanding warrant. So why are you driving?
Arresting someone by yourself is dumb. This is county since it's the sheriff's office. I'm going to take 5. No, I'm going to take 1. He didn't do anything illegal, but I don't agree with the tactic of arresting people by yourselves, and I'm not here for the lecture. But he didn't do anything unlawful. Everything he did was perfectly lawful. He was kind of cool to kick the court date, but he'll probably issued a bunch of citations and then towed this guy's truck, which he's never going to get back because there's no way he's affording like the $1,200 it's going to cost to get your truck back from the tow lot. I am the law and he's the carousel. I believe that. I most of what I've seen from that guy, we've seen clips from him about 3 or 4 times. I haven't been much of a fan, mostly because he enjoys lecturing, and it is like one of my biggest pet peeves when I watch this stuff is lectures, because I was like, look, it's not your job. You don't take an oath to lecture people about the law. I hate that stuff. Negative 100 for Josh not playing State Boys. Squirtle, how about this? I'm going to give a Josh score. We're going to do Josh. And I'm going to tank. I'm going to duplicate the -1. So I'm at negative, let's say 121. For 1 being late, 2 for not playing the State Boys thing, and I think somebody complained about something else. Negative 1,000 for Frank being Frank. I'm not going to take that from County, though. I just took 1 away. He didn't do anything unlawful. He can be annoying as long as he's not doing stuff unlawfully. Put this back and then pull this back. Here we go.
So yesterday, do you remember being trespassed from the store? Yeah. So you know you can't come back? Yeah. Okay. Did you take any items from the store today? You don't have anything in your pockets that came from the store? No. Okay, Mr. Tucker, I'm not trying to be a butthead. I know you're not. What's your plan, brother?
Yes, I'm trying to make my way to the homeless shelter and go.
If I can give you a ride to the parking ride and supply you with a bus pass, would that help you? Yeah. Okay, so we got to figure out what they want to do here first, and then we will make that happen for you, okay? I appreciate you cooperating with me.
Every time.
Do you need any kind of medical help? What do you need?
Whatever they offer.
Unfortunately, we don't have any real facilities here. You're kind of at the end of the road here.
I'll just make it to the bus stop.
Okay, I will give you a ride to the bus stop. Just giving you a ride, okay? Okay, here's that. Here's your bus pass. Got to use it to go Mount Vernon, Burlington, okay? Yeah. All right, sir. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
All right. So yesterday.
So I get that they put music to this, right? And whatever. I'm going to say this is a city cop because this is some city cop energy. He is not doing this guy a favor by giving him a bus pass. He didn't offer him any services. He's just making it someone else's problem and making sure that this guy can't walk back. I'm going to take 5 for being lazy. And this is going to sound harsh, but like the guy CT'd, right? So this is criminal trespass this is criminal trespass in my presence. You're taking him for that every single time, no matter what. He didn't take anything, so he's not picking up a charge for shoplifting, but like, why give the warning if you're not going to enforce the actual act of doing it? Because like, clearly the staff there wanted him criminally trespassed, like, unless there's something weird going on there. And then my biggest issue is like, obviously the guy wants to get to this bus station and maybe go somewhere else, but like, it cost me $4 or $5 to get him a bus ticket to not be my problem, or I have to now book him in and do all this other stuff. But like, you didn't offer him any services. You didn't say like, hey, here's some contact information to help you with your homelessness situation. I have beef. This looks more compassionate than it really is. Now, unless I missed something and they edited around some of it, maybe he did offer services or whatever, but this isn't as cool as they made it out to be. I'm taking 5. For laziness. I don't answer to vigilantes. Wow. Dallas Energy. Luke, I am guilty of this. I have driven somebody across my jurisdiction to make them be someone else's problem. I did this several times. Effing Mint gets it. I just don't like that. I'm okay with them joking about like him being like, well, it's a you problem now. Like, at least I didn't take him to jail, right? I don't like that they're painting it like they're trying to treat him like the lady that got the bicycle for the 7-Eleven employee, or the more Chad dude that bought a PS5 for a kid, right? They're trying to put them all in the same vein. This is actual fluff. Like, they didn't technically do anything for this guy. They didn't give him any type of medical services. They didn't give him any type of services to help him get out of a situation. They just moved him along. They also didn't enforce the request for a criminal trespass that was clearly asked for at another time for another reason. So I beef. Lazy day cop shit. It's day shift. The best cop I've ever encountered. What? Utah, allegedly. So this is Utah Department of Public Safety. This is a state agency, probably. Looking like a police explorer. Oh, y'all roasted right now. I worked on Thursday. There's a theme. Oh no. Legit. I used to be the security. Troll people, pass them directly to DT. Church is 15 minutes away, but that's hilarious. They didn't donate. No. Federal Pals. -2 for the title. I'll take 2. Who's this from? We're gonna take these from State Boys. So they're at -202.
Hey, Sergeant Stevens, Utah Highway Patrol. Welcome to another episode of Ride at the Hive.
So I'm actually taking 2 from State Boys.
Okay, it's got a crash coming up here. So I was trying to stop everybody prior to this crash from speeding. I have an 87, this blue car, in lane 1, just in front of the white car here.
He used lane numbers. That's cringe. I'm teasing. It's not, but that's how it's taught for crashes. But I never used lane numbers. I just said left lane, center lane, or right lane. Every once in a while we had like a 5 or 6 lane thing, and I would just say second from the left or the middle lane or whatever. But this is an old school guy.
At 87 and a 70. So we'll slow him down and talk with him real quick.
Wait, he's going to an accident, and because he had an accident, he's stopping a car that's going... Whatever. Somebody laughed at this.
Hey guys, how we doing today? Good. A little fast there, Trooper Stevens of the Utah Highway Patrol. We have a crash right here. I'm just kind of sitting back here trying to keep traffic, obviously, at a reasonable speed. Speed limit is 70. I have you at 87.
Holy crap.
Is there any reason for the speed at all? Any emergencies or anything? You just didn't know how fast you're going? Or?
Any emergencies.
Okay, can I grab your license from you real quick? Where are you traveling to?
We're going up to Layton. That's where my mom lives.
Answering questions.
Just family stuff.
Family stuff, okay.
Got a -2
Not
to
late
suspects.
for anything?
No, we had to go up to Park City to get clothes that we left up there this weekend.
Gotcha, all right.
We're headed back.
I'll look everything up by way of insurance and insurance and registration through your plate, and I'll get back with you as quickly as I can, okay? Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So...
He totally checked tread depth on those tires for an extra citation. He's for sure blading these people.
When I stop violators, one of the things I like to check is just equipment issues. So I look at those tires, make sure...
I called it! Let's go! Anyways, this guy's petty. Bro, this is a ticket mater. This is a ticket made for show.
Good to go, especially as we work our way into the fall, winter months. A lot of crashes are caused by those bald tires. So I look for the tread depth.
I would be shocked if he could actually be like, oh yeah, this was caused by a bad tire. Like, that is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, sorry.
And hers was great.
Fishing. Dad, I get it. I'm gonna take another 3 for the tread depth look here. -6. We're doing great.
Good finger into the tread there. But that's what I'll look for on stops as well.
I also want to point out something real quick on him looking at tread depth here. From an officer safety standpoint.
Plate, and I'll get back with you as quickly as I can, okay? Thank you so much.
We're going to see something. Can he see at all what's happening in this car while he's backing away from it? And he's in no hurry to go do it, right? He's doing it fast, so it's not a big deal. But, like, I don't know. It's just dumb.
So, Bit of a break on this, down to 5 over. It's the lowest fine bracket that West Valley's going to have. Please watch that speed on.
So I've also had issue with this. If you're going to ticket someone for speeding and there's a different infraction for a different amount of speed, well, you're now alleging that they were driving 75 as opposed to 87, which is inaccurate, right? And I get that you're cutting them a break, but you're still issuing them a citation. So, like, I have beef with it overall.
A little bit closer. This is the leading cause of crashes in this area, whether it's speeds too fast, obviously above the limit, or they're traveling too fast for the conditions, being traffic, weather, whatever it might be, road conditions as well as we work into the winter months as well. But
I'd like to know where he pulls that statistic from. I feel like most crashes and this is a modern vehicle. This has got collision avoidance. It's got blind spot, all that kind of stuff. I bet you most of those happen due to like faulty evasive actions, which is like making a bad turn or whatever, changing lanes. So lane changes cause a ton of accidents, right? I would argue almost driving too slow and causing people to have to change lanes really, really suddenly. And then merging late, I bet you causes more accidents. Also, you have like road debris and stuff like that where you run over a nail at 80 miles per hour or 70 miles per hour, your tire goes. That also causes accidents. And the speed thing, I find. The Autobahn lets you drive like 180 miles per hour and they have less accidents. So like I don't think it's speed.
So watch that a little closer for me, okay? Court information out of this is West Valley City Justice. They do ask for you to wait 5 days, no longer than 14, before contacting them. Just call the number, tell them a fat motor cop stopped you for speed. They'll
Self-deprecating humor is good, though.
tell you everything you need to do, okay? Okay. Fair enough? Yeah, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I've ever encountered.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. We'll keep them that way as well.
Rich
Careful
people.
getting back in. Obviously, they've moved
Somebody issued me a ticket. I would not be saying that.
one off to the right here. The one in your day. Have a Grant loves this area. Usually get some pretty higher speeds through here.
Literally never once in my entire police career did I ever use a LiDAR gun like that, ever.
There.
Big waste of time.
White 4Runner.
But I guess that's his job.
Fastest vehicle.
I mean, this would be like joining the military to be a pogue. Like wanting to do that. You're like, well, I'm going to be a pogue. And then like loving the pogue part of your job.
Ching was in lane 1, a little white 4Runner right up here. And he's going to go left. You are you today? Trooper Stevens from Utah High Patrol.
Another Toyota.
Stop is a speeding violation. 20 over, 90 and a 70. Is this
Stop for speed.
Okay. Break down to 5 over.
Also gave him a break for 5 over. It's the second time I've heard him make up shit for tickets.
Fair enough.
Not make it up.
Okay, holiday justice is a be careful.
Cool.
Okay, so lane 1, there's a little work van up there coming down faster than other vehicles. How do you emit LiDAR? 82 and a 65. Went down the canyon here.
It's a hardworking guy.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today? Good. Trooper Stevens High Patrol. Had you a little fast coming down the canyon here today? Huh? 82? Is that what you said, 82? That was spot on. That's what I had you at 82. That's a good guess. City, come back and forth. Gotcha.
Checking tires. What a
The speed limit was 65. Crashes because the roadways get slick when inclement weather come around. Some people take the current because those speed signs, where the road will prefer to. Okay?
How exciting.
All right, so from here, I'm not going to let anybody else pass me. Try to slow all the traffic down behind me.
For what?
Drive drunk so they know I'm not just normal driving, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to slow them down a little bit now again.
Done this a few times. That's how you shut down highways. Dumb. I'm going to take another 5 away for wasting my time. They're at -11. What a boring ride along video. He wrote some tickets and slowed down traffic. Ugh. You need to chill. Abby, the last ticket I got was for speeding up on the highway to get my little Kia out from behind 2 semis. Exactly. I literally never stop. I'll stop for following too closely. Because you had the people that were like tailgating. I stopped for that plenty of times. But typically mine was going to be for equipment violations. It's going to be like having no brake lights, having no headlights. I did petty stop a few times for no license plate light. If I had people leaving like really sketchy areas. No blinker. Failure to yield. I've stopped a few times for that. Blowing red lights, like if they're just straight up going through red lights. Blowing stop signs, stuff like that. I've stopped for, but never speed. I never measured for speed. Ever, because that's a dumb reason. I drive like a D-bag in a patrol car. Like, why would I stop somebody for that? What to do in a road rage situation. You ready? Listen for it, kiddos. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That was not advice, or nor legal advice. What did I miss? Mac Daddy, that sounds delicious. You missed the best cop ever in Utah. It was not great.
An alert about road rage. In tonight's 2020, ABC's Eva Pilgrim explores what to do if you find yourself in a tense situation behind the wheel. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Robin. Let's be honest. Most of us have been a little peeved while driving. It happens. Something about being behind the wheel of a car can make normal, everyday people lose it. But what makes someone go from angry to violent? You've seen the story.
The difference between angry and violent is when you believe you will not be held accountable for your actions. That is the entire function of law enforcement. You will get angry or upset or disheveled or feel like you have been unjustly punished for something. That is going to happen. The difference between that and violence is, like I said, a lack of accountability.
Stories leading your local news and polluting YouTube.
Very nice.
Just this week, an 18-year-old murdered by an irate driver after she merged into his lane while driving home from the mall just outside of Philadelphia. And last week, this shocking video of an incident on a California freeway leading to a multi-car crash.
That's hilarious.
Call 911, Chris.
That's what he gets for trying to hit that car.
Nearly half of all drivers surveyed have experienced some form of road rage. Captain Jeff Goodwin of the Colorado State Patrol is fighting the uphill battle against
Captain is not fighting anything except for morale, but whatever.
An army of hot-tempered motorists.
I used to think it was something like people cutting you
Pedestrians
off. But,
and no
one of the things
blinker.
that people really...
No blinker is a problem. Pedestrians also need to take their life into their own hands. Like, don't be stepping out into traffic. Juan has felt like completely abandoning his responsibilities to stream and to editing, apparently. So that's on him. But Ivana, yeah, I would say that most people, the problem is if we're commuting somewhere, we're likely commuting to work or trying to get somewhere. And so you already have some sort of stress in that travel. And so that's a lot. That's why road rage happens. I'm pretty much immune to it at this point.
They get angry about if somebody honks the horn at you because you've sat too long at a light. I think they literally go from the Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde.
We showed the good Captain Goodwin some greatest hits, which also provide some potentially life-saving tips. Rule number 1, don't make eye contact.
This motorist is out of control. And this victim is doing...
This is what we call Chad energy. Or not Chad energy, Kyle energy. It's the kid that punches holes in his wall, kind of Kyle stuff. Don't be Kyle. Be of sound mind.
all the right things.
Just stare ahead, don't engage.
Right. Yeah, the minute you engage, who knows where this goes.
Rule number 2, never approach the window.
Yeah, don't do
wow, okay, this is more than over the top because now you have a gun involved.
You never know who's packing heat.
Exactly.
And
damn right.
Most important, rule number 3, you don't always have to win.
And that's a key when talking with law enforcement.
I think the better point would have been it's not about winning. It's about getting to where you're trying to go, right? Like the way that you came there. I'm practically immune to road rage at this point, but...
Many of them telling us the worst times are what you would think the busy
Peak,
times
yeah.
on the road. Rush hour Fridays, often the worst because people are just over the...
Also, when the Cowboys lose in Dallas. Not making eye contacts. I mean, I guess. But it's not like you're dealing with a dog, right? Like, I think they should have talked more about driving defensively. So, like, don't try to drive aggressively because that's how you incur road rage, right? Obey all traffic laws. That's a good way to make sure that you're at least in the right on some of this stuff. And then to de-escalate, to avoid situations. Don't tailgate people. If someone's tailgating you, just get out of the way, whatever. I really think they should find problem drivers, right? So people tailgate. It's why I stopped tailgating. Tailgating, high beams, people that were honking or being aggressive to other drivers, I would stop every single time. If I saw it, it got stopped because I think that they are the ones escalating that situation. You deal with them, you have less issues. I'm going to take some from media. I'm going to take 1 point from media just because I feel like it was a pretty lazy fluff story on that. And then this was indeed State Boys. I'm going to take 4 just to make it an even negative 15 for being lazy at attempting that. Was insane on I-30. Saw at least 10 cars in a 1 mile spinning the road rage. Going 100 past them all. Yeah. I will say this. I think motorcycle drivers that do lane splitting and record themselves, it's all of that combination. It's not just lane splitting. It's not just a motorcycle. If you own a motorcycle, you record yourself driving, and you do lane splitting, you are likely the most confrontational person on the roadway. Wear a bike helmet. Act special. No one fights you. I can see that. I would not try any of that in DFW or Houston. Don't do that in Texas. You can do it in a lot of other places. Just don't do it there. The car is the least dangerous thing to you here in Texas. We're going. What is this? Florida police.
Unique act of kindness. He helped a homeless man land a job. Cell phone video captured Officer Tony Carlson is his name, assisting a man named Phil with a shave in Tallahassee. Why'd he do that? Vladimir Dudiev of our streaming network CBSN shows us why the officer stepped right in. Vlad, good morning.
Good morning. Officer Carlson was in a gas station parking lot.
I'm not even going to finish watching this because they called this life-saving. That was not life-saving. I'm going to take media on this one. I bet this guy's just minding his own business, trying to hope that this guy gets it. I'm going to take 10 from media on that. We're at -1 for media. I'm not even entertaining this story. That's dumb. Arresting deputy refuses to testify. Interesting.
Has 2 chances to hold drunk drivers accountable. There are criminal penalties in court, and the state of New Mexico can take away your driver's license. We've shown you what happens when officers don't show up to those hearings. Drivers get a free pass. But KRQE investigative reporter Gabrielle Burkhart uncovered another problem involving a law enforcement agency going rogue.
So you guys okay?
3 separate cars hit on a dark road in Valencia County.
He smells of alcohol, like he's completely drunk off his...
Witnesses say the driver who caused the crash was going the wrong direction.
He hit me, hit her, still tried taking off and everything.
Valencia County Deputy Brandon Lujan took the report in October 2022.
I need you to be honest with me, bro. I'm smelling the odor of alcohol. How much have you had to drink tonight?
A couple of beers.
The deputy tried to have the driver, Carlos Baca, do field sobriety tests.
I know what you mean. Okay? Is your foot on that line?
Including having Baca walk a straight line.
Okay. So what are you telling me? You don't want to do the test anymore? No? I'm sorry. Place your hands behind your back, okay?
Baca was arrested, charged with aggravated DWI. The deputy's report notes Baca's breath alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit.
Along with the criminal process for DWI, under New Mexico's Implied Consent Act, Baca's driver's license should have been revoked. It's something drivers can fight by requesting an administrative hearing to try and convince a hearing officer there isn't probable cause to revoke their license. It's something the arresting officer can argue. In this case, Baca did request a license hearing, and what happened there is shocking.
This hearing is being held by Zoom video conference.
An audio record of that license revocation hearing from December 2022 reveals Thomas Clear III is on the call as Baca's defense attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Thomas J. Clear III on behalf of the motorist Carlos Baca, who is at work right now.
Clear is now under federal investigation, accused of working with police officers to get DWI cases dismissed. While there's no proof that happened in this case, something strange did happen.
But this was a unique case I wanted to let you hear.
We played the recording for Linda Atkinson, Executive Director of the DWI Resource Center.
All right, and on behalf of the Motor Vehicle Department, Deputy
Brandon Lujan.
The deputy who made the arrest is on the call. Step 1 in ensuring the accused drunk driver will have his license revoked.
The breath test results are partially illegible. Do you have a copy, a clear copy you can email this morning, Deputy Lujan?
No, I don't, Your Honor, and I just want to state for the record, I'm going to refuse to testify this morning.
Oh, okay. Can you elaborate or?
I'm just refusing to testify.
The hearing officer's surprise is apparent.
Well, you've been subpoenaed. However, I don't have contempt powers under the Implied Consent Act, and
I was going to ask why they couldn't do contempt of court for refusal. Like, you can be compelled to talk. Like, that's kind of the point of... That's weird.
I will note that a revocation is rescinded because you refuse to testify.
Okay.
Meaning the accused drunk driver will automatically keep his driver's license, allowing him to stay behind the wheel when she thought she'd heard it all.
Anything further, Mr. Clear?
No, be safe out there, Deputy. I know your job is a dangerous one, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I know you have a dangerous job.
Not appropriate for a courtroom.
He just let an impaired driver go. So it makes it more dangerous, don't you think? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
When somebody does refuse to testify, is that acceptable?
They're expected to comply with the subpoena. There is no good justification to ignore a subpoena and to refuse to testify or cooperate.
Brian Van Densen is the chief hearing officer for the state agency that handles license revocation hearings.
The Implied Consent Act hearings and the license revocation process save lives, so people will get on ignition interlock sooner, usually, than what the court process takes to get an outcome in the court process. And of course, when people are on interlocks, that improves public safety for everyone else on the roadways.
For the process to work, though, officers have to show up and testify to facts of their arrest. Officer attendance issues are prevalent statewide, Van Densen says, but for an officer to show and then refuse to testify, that's another problem.
That's weird.
If you show up at a hearing and you decline to testify, that might have been the case where you could have made a difference. And we'll never know the answer to that.
But consequences for a refusal, that's up to the law enforcement agencies, he says.
We originally agreed to allow that to happen.
Valencia County Sheriff Denise V. Hill says she originally supported her deputies refusing to testify, thinking it might hurt their DWI criminal case if something an officer said could be held against them in court.
That is the dumbest justification I have ever heard in my life. Bro, I'm at... This is starting to upset me.
Today she admits that hasn't happened.
Going forward, will you be okay with deputies not testifying at these?
No, we have had a meeting this morning and we sent out a directive that everyone is fully aware that these MVD hearings are very important, and that they will show up to them if they're subpoenaed, and they will give testimony.
Baca's aggravated DWI case was ultimately dismissed in court due to, quote, insufficient evidence. And without the deputy's testimony, he was allowed to keep all of his driving privileges. Twice, the state had chances to hold an accused drunk driver accountable. Twice, there were no consequences. Something Sheriff V. Hill says won't happen again under her watch.
We've remedied that.
What brought about this change?
Yeah.
You did. I mean, you know, you brought it to our attention that this occurred with everything that's been...
You held us accountable because we were just making shit up and not doing our job. Thank you for holding us accountable. Like, bro, like, vote this lady out. Horrible policy. Bad sheriff. Comment. Wow. That's I'm gonna take 20 from County on that one. Keith's not here to stop me. That's pretty bad. The fact that the news had to tell you that the cat is back. She's beyond sketchy, dog. I'd be like arresting somebody for murder and then the detective just being like, yeah, but I don't want to talk about why we did it or how we came to that determination. Like, You could have been doing civil rights violations and you wouldn't know. They'd be like, oh, we're just not going to hand over the body cam. We have it. We're just not going to hand it over to the court that I'm beholden to. Like, I don't, that's sussy.
Forward! Face the other way!
Pulled over, had guns drawn on them, and were put in handcuffs.
She's 16 years old. That's okay. Stay right there. Why do you have a gun on her?
Good job. County boys on the highway, pulling over the wrong car. Anyways, don't you feel dumb?
This is what I'm fucking talking about people on this goddamn shift not knowing what they're doing.
Welcome.
That's incredible. Oh.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel.
I'm here for it, dog.
On New Year's Day in 2024, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office conducted a felony stop on a vehicle they believed to be stolen.
So, how you find out a car is stolen is you run the plate, right? So you run the plate, and if the owner of that vehicle says it's stolen, cool, you're going to treat it like a stolen vehicle, right? But you got to read the plate out, and dyslexic or not, right? You got to read the plate out correctly. And let's say the plate comes back with a stolen hit. Dispatch is going to verify with you. You're out with a, white Nissan, or you're out with whatever, and you give it a look and be like, yeah, that's the car I'm out with. And be like, okay, that is or isn't stolen. There's a couple things that have to happen before you just know. You don't just look at a car and know that it's stolen.
Oldsman, we have them stopped right at the entrance of Bay Harbor.
Driver, step out of the vehicle. Hands up! Driver and all passengers, hands up! Driver, step out of the vehicle with your hands up!
Plus 15 for salty cup.
Face away from me! Face forward!
Wrecked by platoon
Passenger,
mate.
stay in the vehicle. Stay in the vehicle. Driver, take 2 steps to the left with your hands up. With your left hand, pick the back of your collared shirt up and do a circle.
It's a regular high-risk stop.
Take him over. Face the other way! Take 4 steps to your left. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
So I'm with you that there's times where high-risk stops make sense. I've done plenty myself. But if it's taking too long, just go up there and go get him. If it's taking too long. There's no point of just standing there waiting, because he could just decide to run back in his car and take off, right? I'd just go out there and grab him. Did not do it pinky first.
Confirming a couple things.
Again, he handcuffed just as well as that kid in the Explorers thing did.
Right now, brother. Is that your car?
Oh, come on, get it together. You got it. I believe in you.
Knowledge.
Never mind. He did it poor.
All right, go ahead and get up. Step back with me.
Dude, there's units coming code to them. They should slow everybody down. You got 2 officers there. You'll be fine.
Take a seat inside.
Sounds like he's mid-divorce.
Just take a seat inside.
She's got epilepsy.
It's okay. We'll handle it with that as it is, okay? Take a seat.
Can I ask what's going on?
Stay right there.
As the
Memphis
officers
Rebel, what's
removed
going
the
on?
occupants,
We're making fun of
several
county
other
guys right
cruisers
now.
raced to the scene.
Yeah.
Just gonna commit to going 1018.
We just ain't gonna drive crazy to get to a sick time. Now, do you see how there's just a bunch of dead air and we don't know what's happening at all? They need to be updating us on what's going on.
They should be saying I'm 10, 15 times 1. If they're in a fight or whatever, technically one officer should be giving updates. They are correct.
Don't turn where he turned, he's wrong. Their map is showing forward on the left. Yeah, I don't know where he's going.
Nice.
Somebody's GPS that ain't working.
Got the salty FTO.
Yeah, he went wrong. Get to the left lanes.
went the wrong way.
So angle just behind this car, because we're gonna get up there and help with this felony stop.
Whoa, what is my boy doing? Just for a frame of reference, right? So let's say this is the first patrol car, and you have the second patrol car. Unless it's like a highway or something, there's no need to make your third car there. Just get behind the first two cars and then show up. There's no need to be this far forward.
Okay.
Takedowns on.
This is a good position. Contributing.
We'll contact you. Bring her over here. We'll do your contact team.
Yeah, she's not pulling on.
All right, keep giving her commands. We'll do your contact team.
Let's not shoot from the back of the bus here, boys.
16 years old. That's okay. Stay right there. Why do you have a gun on her?
All right, turn to your left. To your left. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning.
Okay,
all
Doug.
the way around.
She's not armed. It's fine.
Start taking. Keep going. Keep going.
How many people are in this car?
Just one. Just her.
All right, stop.
Come back towards the sound of my voice.
She's 16.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Somebody needs to have my cover, so you need to have my cover.
Passenger in the rear, hands up.
They're bluffing the car.
Are we clearing her or are we waiting for a shield?
Passenger, hands up.
Keep coming back towards the sound of my voice. Back. Someone have my cover. Back. Come back here. All the way back. All the way back. Is there anybody else in that car? Just you? You were the last person?
Passenger in the rear, hands
Slightly
up.
better handcuffing. We're getting there.
Anybody got a shield when we walk up?
You don't need a shield. Just approach the
You're the only
car.
person that was last in that car? Let me know now, because somebody's liable to get hurt. I don't know where you're at. You confirm tag November.
Also should have just, hey, we have 5 officers here. I don't think we need anybody else. Get on the radio. Tell them, hey, we don't need anybody else coming your code. Oh, we're just now reading the plate? I'm getting stressed.
Bridge 74, November Mike, Lima Yankee 69, 2023 white Kia. That's not signal 10.
Oh my.
Pendejo.
Lima 769.
Oh my god. I ain't kidding. Wrong vehicle. So.
No. It's not the wrong vehicle. You ran it wrong, like an idiot.
Wrong vehicle, guys, so be careful. We'll move up, clear it from the side. Okay. They got, ready?
Yep.
10.
I was at the wrong vehicle.
We still haven't cleared this car.
I confirmed it. It's stolen right away.
I'm going to get you out of these handcuffs. The car's not SIG 10.
Comes up as 610.
Is he arguing about it being stolen?
Comes back as 610.
What's happening is that this car, it was coming back as stolen for the deputy that was behind you, but we've just confirmed that car's not stolen. I'm getting her out of cuffs. Now, okay. You all right? Okay, you can have a seat on that. Actually, don't, because it's wet. Let me try and find you your shoe. Do you take any medicine? Okay, do you have it with you? No. Do you take any medicine? Yeah. Okay, do you have it with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
We're just going to let her approach this car by herself? This allegedly stolen car? These people are dumb.
Here you go. We'll try to get those lights off for you. Come up. You can come have a seat in your car. We'll get your dad for you, okay?
The reason why we're doing this, okay? We had a hit on your vehicle. Okay. Go ahead.
Incorrect. Just apologize and be done with it.
It was stolen.
But it's fully registered?
Yeah, which again, that's why I'm saying we had a hit on it, which is why we did what we did. Okay?
No.
Just so that we can kind of explain it.
Just apologize and be done.
Yeah, grow up, buddy.
Yeah. Did I stutter? Yeah, people make mistakes.
Bro.
Get over yourself.
You could have got somebody killed.
Oh, get over yourself. You're such a
Hey, stay. Hey, 10-12. Okay. That's why we just explained everything to you, okay? Just so you kind of understand what's going on.
My LPR went off. It showed SIG 10.
Well, that's weird if the LPR went off. So LPR is a license plate reader. If the license plate reader hit the car and said it was stolen or potentially stolen or whatever, you still should be verifying that the LPR return is correct. When it ran the plate, that 7, unless it was just absolute happenstance that it happened to run a very similar car, you still should have had some sort of like, hey, this is or isn't stolen, or this is or isn't the correct car.
I mean, am I under arrest?
Not at all.
Like,
Okay.
so
That's why we're just explaining.
So
it to
this, if this happens,
That's why we're gonna get this all taken care of, and we're gonna document.
How does that happen? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Like, just
Okay.
I thought, like,
Do your thing.
I mean, it's just
It's concerning.
it's very concerning. But like I said, I got.
Bro, give him the here's your complaint card and go. What are we doing here? Like, you're done. You don't have any reason to be here. You need medical attention? No, I'm sorry. Here.
16-year-old daughter. You know, football.
Maybe this guy just smelled lawsuit.
You know what I mean?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay,
bro.
Appreciate it.
What are we doing?
Incident report said
Okay, let's
now
see it.
intends to file a lawsuit.
Good on
just
him.
met with the attorneys representing a Pinellas County family who says their car was mistaken for a stolen vehicle. The incident report says the deputy commanded Federico and his daughter at gunpoint to get out of the car before putting them both in handcuffs.
They put the handcuffs on her. And at that point, I'm screaming at the deputies, you know, she's 16, she has epilepsy, the flashing lights, you know, like, what is going on? And again, was getting nothing.
Federico says the deputy never asked him to confirm his identity. And the report says the deputy admits he made an error when running Federico's license plate. His tag is registered in Florida, and deputies were looking for a stolen vehicle with similar tags, but registered out of New Mexico.
That should trigger an officer to second guess himself before ordering an individual who's completely innocent out of his car, and even worse, with guns raised and pointing the guns at that individual and his daughter.
We're told the sheriff is aware of the incident but has not had a chance to review the case from January. Meanwhile, Federico says this should have never happened to begin with, but
I thought they were going to kill you.
As always, let me know what you
I don't think you win that lawsuit. So if the LPR was the one that did the hit, then his equipment is technically the thing that ran it incorrectly, and he just didn't verify it, right? Everything they did is within policy if they believe that car was stolen. So let's say, right, just for the sake of argument, that this guy thinks his car got stolen because his daughter took the car, right? It's not actually stolen. It's just they failed to communicate to it. It's not actually stolen. It's not reported stolen, whatever. He says, hey, that's my stolen car. Officer goes to go check and see if that car's stolen. You're going to approach it the way you're trained to approach stolen cars, and that's a gunpoint. Point guns at people all the time. All the time. It did a pretty weak lawsuit. I think they're trying to play it up for the money, but that is on them for knowing whether or not the car's actually stolen. I'm gonna say for county, because this is county, I'm only gonna take 5, because that really is just a matter of not being an idiot. For society, I don't know. I'm gonna take 5 from media for way blowing this out of proportion. This really shouldn't have been this big a deal. And then for society, +5 for suing just because they might get some money out of it. Shout out to them. But I don't think it's that big a deal. Nothing they did was irregular if they truly believe the car was stolen. But it is up to them to know. Same consequence can happen if you're like at the wrong house for a domestic, right? And let's say something bad comes out of it. Sure, but like results end up mattering. Feared consequences versus actual consequences are very different, especially on the civil side of things. I don't know, or at least on the criminal side of things. Is it reasonable if he doesn't verify? So that's what I'm getting at is like if it's the LPR, which is the license plate reader, so that's an automatic system. So that's a system that just is reading plates, right? If it's the LPR that gave him the stolen hit on that car that was in front of him, then no. That's not his. That's technically the machine kind of effed him over. Because let's say I read it out correctly, right? I read the plate correctly. Let's say dispatch fat fingers it and types it in incorrectly. It is like, oh, that's a stolen car, and gives me a wrong return. Technically, that's dispatch's fault, not mine. I'm only going based off the information I know. Same argument can be said if I accuse Juan, right? I think Juan is holding Megan hostage. They're holding hands, right? And you give me this crazy story how he kidnapped Megan and so on and so forth. Like, if I'm the investigating officer, I have to go based off of what I've been told. And I'm taking it for face value. Like, there's going to be some level of reasonableness there, but I don't think there's enough there to say it was misconduct, if that makes sense. And the second they're like, no, this is not correct, they stopped what they were doing and released him. So, like, had they, like, doubled down and still did it, that'd be different. But I think this is getting played up a little much. Media didn't have anything to run that day. They're going with it. Is it still a lawsuit because PD is in charge of the equipment and maintenance? Likely no, because the LPR is likely a third party. So just same thing with like their body cameras, right? So like, let's say a body camera malfunction occurred. Well, Axon's the one responsible for that. So Axon does the maintenance. Axon does the firmware. Axon does whatever. They're not going to keep somebody on staff whose job it is to take care of that. So same thing with like our radios. We had our radios go down multiple times. And Motorola ran, operated, coded, and everything. Now, they had someone on call for that. But if it goes down, it goes down. And if mistakes occur because of that, I'm still going to be held liable for whatever's in my control. But, like, you can't, like, hold the police department liable if you can't get a cell phone signal, so you can't call 911 and then 911 doesn't show up, right? Like, kind of what I mean. I don't know. They'll likely play kick the can on that. File against the company that made the LPR, possibly, especially if it did give a bad return. I buy that entirely. Sure, until you get former lieutenant that testified, reasonable officer would verify. I would argue that. I think ultimately they should have verified. Anytime we got a weird hit on a car, we would always read the plate again. Almost always. Like, even if it was like a warrant hit, which isn't like crazy, like a misdemeanor warrant, I'm not doing a high risk takedown on a car with a misdemeanor warrant. But I would double check that's, even if I got a warrant on a person's return, like you read somebody's ID, you would get what's called a sound X, which is like a similar sounding name to something else that's been verbally given to law enforcement before. I would double check or triple, hey, what's the last four of your social? Or hey, like, have you ever lived at this address or whatever? You're going to try to get more information to verify before we start escalating law enforcement action. But like again, you could only do what like is verifiable to you, if that makes any sense. Jacobs or Juan said, clip it, could be used in court. No, because the defense attorney would then say, look, 5 seconds later in that same clip, and he dispels the argument that was made. The amount of crimes Josh has had Juan commit is crazy. Sailor George, what's going on? This incident's basically a Terry stop, which is deemed constitutional. That being said, my LPR requires me to verify the image. I agree. I just think that they should have verified. That's just from that's a CYA thing. But yeah, I never used LPRs for that reason. I ran all my own plates. I would be an advocate for officers just running their own plates, because you shouldn't just, I get, especially like a high volume area, that you're just like indiscriminately running every single license plate around you, which is what LPRs do. I didn't run a plate unless I had some sort of reasonable suspicion. So I'd like to see a moving violation, right, or something like that. I'd run the plate and see if it was worth stopping, or just drive around it for a little bit and harass it so they'd stop doing whatever they were doing. I second FTO's opinion. Yeah, these guys are idiots. They are idiots, though.
Hey, did you talk to Fenton about sleeping through calls?
Don't worry about it, man. I took care of it.
Oh, my God.
Hey, did you talk to Fenton about sleeping through calls?
Don't worry about it.
I just think it's funny that these are firefighters and they're perfectly comfortable with demonstrating that they're sitting in actual lazy boys. Maybe it's done on purpose, but I'll give a +1 to media here. We'll get them back to just -5, and then I'm gonna still leave firefighter. I'll leave it at that. I'm not giving any more points for this. If you're calling backup units, pulling your weapons, and 2, someone has to pay for that. I could see that. You're definitely going to have some paperwork. There's going to be a use of force for both of them because you pointed a gun at somebody. Oh, dude, that policy update for sure is going to happen. I think I think you probably have some policy, because if nothing they did was out of policy, you can't discipline the officer. Like, that's kind of why policy books end up being enormous, right? Unless they have like a really broad catch-all, they're going to hit him with like conduct unbecoming or something really broad. But it could have been handled a lot better. Harass them, Josh. That's yeah, I don't know. Really, what you have here, which is really common, is very unexperienced police officers having to interact with the public. And this is what happens when you have very inexperienced police officers interacting with the public. They make mistakes. And he was real defensive about it too. He's like, oh, we make mistakes. I was like, you're really not allowed to as a police officer. You shouldn't be. And you should be held to a higher standard, and that's okay. Thought we were frozen there. Nope. Oh, I got to up the volume on all these. Got it.
Way too many scenes that I have been to in this city where I have seen children either dead because of a car accident with a stolen car, seriously injured, or shot in connection with activity with stolen cars. And too many parents that have been begging us for help.
All right, I want to start tonight with a story that really knocked us all back here today, because this is video. We've got, see it back there, of a car driving through a playground area. This is in Minneapolis. And during a couple of passes,
he said this was in Minneapolis. And I was like, oh, my knee-jerk reaction was, oh, this makes way more sense. This is terrible.
He actually zooms through and past where these kids were all playing. And if that's not bad enough, okay, here's the real surprise. The driver, just 10 years old. Our Leon Purvis joins us now tonight. Leon, this happened a couple of weeks ago.
Let's take, I'm going to take us from society. We're going to take 10 points away for leaving your car unsecured. We're taking some points away.
But we're just getting this video today. But the other part of the story here is that this is not the first time this 10-year-old has had run-ins with police, is it?
Yes, Tim, that's what police tell us tonight. Minneapolis police say that the 10-year-old drove near the playground on September 20th. And Chief Brian O'Hara says that the 10-year-old boy has at least 30 entries with the department dating back to May 2023.
Okay, we're going to take another 10 from society, that you have a 10-year-old that has 30 documented law enforcement run-ins. Jeez.
Surveillance video caught it all. At Nellie Stone Johnson School, the car just drives across the grass. Then this, it approaches the playground as the child quickly stops to keep from getting hit. Police say the alleged driver was a 10-year-old boy.
This is a case, as there are others, where parents need help. It's not an issue of parents being neglectful.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says they've arrested the boy.
I'm going to say maybe. I think that's an easy thing to say, but I had a very big, poor population where I was a police officer. Ton of kids all over the place, right? Even in single-parent, multi-job households, right? Didn't see kids stealing cars. It was very rare. We had to deal with kids under the age of like 11 or 12. Very, very rare. Right about 12 or 13, we started to have to deal with them a lot more. But there's some level of neglect happening on some level. Kids just don't randomly do this by themselves.
Boy at least 2 times before in other incidents. His history with
Minus
police
100. I
spans
took
back
it
nearly
from
18
society.
months.
Parents
This boy
founder
is also
society.
listed as a suspect in more than 12 cases that range from auto theft to robbery to assault with a dangerous, deadly weapon. The remaining entries are...
Okay. We are at negative 20 for society. So I am at negative 35 total for society. There's no way. Again, kids do a lot of weird stuff. Kids don't rob people. Kids don't do that unless there's some level of neglect or abuse or something. That's why I don't like that's what he said. It's not neglect. The parents just need help.
mostly related to runaway type cases.
O'Hara believes the system has failed this 10-year-old.
This is a situation where a mother, who I believe is a good parent, has been asking the system for help, and the system has been failing her and failing her child.
A system that has few answers for young children. And if his arrest in this case doesn't raise concerns, add to it the belief that he was driving a stolen car.
The system doesn't have an answer for what to do with someone this young. And that is the revolving door that we've been seeing over and over throughout this year.
To prove his point, the boy was in another incident in August. Those charges were just approved Friday.
This juvenile, amongst other juveniles, when approached a victim while holding a knife in his hand and threatened the victim, saying that he would gut her. "I will gut you," is his quote, the victim stated, while trying to steal the victim's Kia.
Bro, what Fonger said. Free my boy, my 10-year-old boy. We had every once in a while you'd have kids that are right around the age of like maybe 13 was maybe the youngest that I had that were doing serious crimes. This is gonna be robbery and stuff like that. Almost all of that at that day and age is going to be some form of mimicry, and I'm sure somebody in the chat here can back this up that's got a better hold on what's it called, psychology. But like, kids aren't feeling the pressure of economic needs, that they're not having self-identity crises typically at around that age. But if they're robbing people and they're saying stuff like that, almost all of that's being mimicked based off of something that they're seeing or behavior that they've seen demonstrated. So this is kind of where TV can become a problem, especially when you have a very young, impressionable mind. They can't parse out the difference between reality and something that's fiction. They don't understand the severity of a lot of their consequences. It's why, specifically in Texas, you actually can't be convicted of a crime at the age of 10. So yeah. Obviously, there has to be some sort of solution. He clearly can't do the regular school thing, but we have ISS, which isn't a great solution, but it's something that's at least not giving this kid access to stolen cars and stuff. But I don't know, dog. Something's failing that kid. I've taken 20 from society on that, and I'm going to actually take, is it admin? I'm going to take another 20 from admin for that weak-ass speech. That is not wanting to take accountability for that stuff. Allegedly a nice cop. Let's see.
Hey, you eat anything today?
Yes, I ate it.
Okay.
Did you see his shoes? The holes?
I know. All right, Mark. Well, Big Five hooked me up, okay? So those are some shoes for you, and there's a pair of socks in there for you as well, okay? Some winter ones, some nice and warm ones. So check them out, see if they, I don't know if you want to put them on and see if they fit you. She said they should last you and not get real messed up. Good? All right, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being out here and being cool with us, and I'll try to help you out. And here's $20, okay? So you get yourself something to eat and you stay out of this weather, okay? Anything you need, man, just let us know. We'll try to help you out, okay? All right. You have a good day. We'll see you later. Sir, good morning. How you doing?
I mean, it was pretty nice. He got him some shoes and $20. I mean, that will feed him, you know. I think homelessness, again, to this day, is probably one of the things that crushes me more than anything. Homelessness makes me big sad. Yeah, there's just got to be, like, I don't know, like diversionary programs or something. Homelessness is big sad. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I have like a buttload of messages here. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Nothing pressing. Okay, we're going to continue. Pilot rescue mission thwarted due to arrest threat.
Survival are now being shared days after Helene wreaked havoc in North Carolina. But one Pageland man's efforts to help are now the source of controversy. He flew his own chopper on his own dime to help stranded victims. But that man says he abandoned his rescue missions after a fire official threatened to have him thrown in jail. Well, that man now wants answers and turned to Queen City News Chief Investigator Jody Barr to help figure out what went wrong here.
This is the original post that I was reading when I decided to go up and help. It's a long post, but she's saying that her kids and family and animals are trapped. No way out, no supplies, and the only way in or out is accessible by helicopter. Limited cell service and no water since Friday morning. I thought I have a helicopter and maybe I can help.
Jordan Sidham piled food and water into his helicopter Saturday and headed up toward Banner Elk, the only way through a mountain gap in Lake Lure.
This is the mountain valley that you would have to fly to get to Black Mountain, where we were escorting people out. This is a mountain range, and this is a mountain range. The only place to fly through with bad visibility, low cloud coverage, is Lake Lure.
The cries for help from people stranded without food, water, or electricity hit social media soon after the flooding last Friday.
But my parents are stuck there. Their address is Banner Elk. They are in the first condo. If you receive this, please give me a call back. Thank you.
Sidham's phone started lighting up on Saturday with people begging for help.
I could hear the desperation in her voice. This is multiple phone calls I've received like this, voicemails.
Again Sunday morning.
Okay, I need the
spoke
legal
with my son,
part.
which is my co-pilot. I said, hey, do you...
Flight tracking shows no flight restrictions in place Saturday or Sunday morning when Sidham flew through the Lake Lure Gap. But that was all about to change. The Sidham spotted an older couple waving for help, then landed in what's left of their driveway.
Hey, I want you to let me get in. You step out and go out, help her in, put her bag in the back, get her strapped in. I'm going to take her down, come back. I'll take him, I'll come back, and then I'll get you, okay?
I originally left my son, co-pilot, on the side of the mountain. It was kind of unstable, so I didn't want to put more weight in the helicopter to lift back off. So I left my son with the other victim, and I was just going to take one person down at the time. And you could hear me in the video talking through with the victims and with my son what we're going to do.
3 minutes away, Sidham spotted a group of rescuers just down the river. He landed and found someone in charge.
Told him my background experience, law enforcement, firefighting, pilot. He immediately started helping with coordination. He gave me radio frequencies to coordinate with them on, set up a landing area for me to come back with the other victim.
Okay, cool.
And in the middle of the whole conversation and then blocking the road off, I was greeted by the, at that time I didn't know, but Lake Lure fire chief or assistant chief maybe, and he shut down the whole operation. So at that point I felt like the conversation wasn't going any further. And again, he asked me to leave, and I said, hey, I have no problem getting out of your area. If that's what you want us to do, we'll leave, no issue. At that point, I asked him, what was the reason I had to leave them there? And he said, again, you're interfering with my operation. I just need you to get out of the area. I said, sir, I don't know where you were trained at, but I know how my training is, and I'm not going to leave personnel behind. I'm going back to get my co-pilot. He said, if you turn around and go back up the mountain, you're going to be arrested. I said, well, sir, I'm going back to get my co-pilot. I don't know what to tell you.
It's also like his son that he's like legally responsible for. What?
And he said, I'm letting you know. And at that point, he waved for 2 law enforcement officers to come over and told me that again, if I go back up the mountain, I would be arrested.
He flew the 3-minute trip back, picked up his son, and left the woman's husband behind.
Sure, he was flooded with emotions and trying to rescue other people, and I just felt that it was best at the time to leave. So I did follow his instructions, and I had a conversation with the female victim before I left, apologizing and explaining. She was standing there. She heard the whole conversation, and they were both very, very surprised, very upset. The husband as I was leaving off of the side of the mountain, at that point, separated from his wife, he was upset. I can only imagine.
Sidham and his nearly 1,400 flight hours turned his chopper around and headed back to South Carolina, passing people waving for help along the way.
As I was actually leaving to go back to get my son, the original chief or captain that I spoke to, his crew and himself, they came back over and said, hey man, we can't tell you to go get the victim. We can't even ask you to go get the victim, but we can tell you if you come back with the victim, we'll have you a designated landing spot, and they won't. We'll make sure they don't come over here.
So there was no flight restriction when you went in?
No flight.
Damn, I get it. If he was, that was going to be my biggest question, was going to be whether or not there was some sort of like FAA restriction, because it's airspace. That's not really our job, as whether you're fire or police. Like, we don't really police airspace. That's the feds. The fact that it was one guy, like, I'm gonna take 100 from admin for that, because that's the most administrative BS I've ever heard in my life. That sucks, dude. Especially because, like, you're already having dudes that are like, dude, this is great. We can get people out and makes the one thing that makes helicopters a lot safer than pretty much any other way to do it, and high water rescue people can hear me out on a lot of this stuff, is they don't have to get into the water to get to people. And right now, water's the problem, right? The second I have to get into water, I don't know what's in it. I don't know if the current's going to change or what's going on. But versus a helicopter can very quickly see something, go get it, pick it up. Even if it's just getting information, having a helicopter on scene is huge. And I don't know, that's wild to me. Yeah, -100, easy. And I did that on admin because technically it was an administrator. It wasn't the fire guys. Yeah, interfering with administration is a huge, yeah. I'm trying to put this in a non, let me see. Typical administrative behavior. Oh, I put 2 H's, my bad. FD chief should be fired. What a douche. There it is. We went and put our bit of justice on that. Let's go. Good on them for covering the story. Let's see if they got a statement out of them. That's what I want to hear.
Restriction when I went in.
Because of what happened?
I don't think it can be coincidental when there has not been one in place the day before.
You feel like that was coincidental, or do you think that was because of
Oh,
what
they
happened?
put a flight restriction
I don't
on
think it can be
it?
coincidental when there has not been one in place the day before doing rescue operations, the night of, the morning of, that took place after our altercation. I think there would have never been a TFR put in place had we not had that conversation. If I had to do it over again, I would have stopped and I would have rescued as many people until they decided they were going to arrest me.
Well, for now, we've chosen not to name that Lake Lure fire official because communications
Boo!
in and out of that town are still difficult. We want to include his side in this story, and if and when he responds to our messages, we will include that. The good news is I saw a video of a Coast Guard helicopter landing in Lake Lure this morning, so hopefully some of those mountain rescues are underway today. From Pageland, Jody Barr, Queen City.
Wow, that's trash. Now, if the feds are operating in the air, then yeah, they're gonna be like, nah, dog. We have our own pilots. We want our own airspace to go do operations. If the Coast Guard's doing it, then yeah, the Coast Guard's not gonna want you flying in their airspace. You're likely not gonna be on their same radio channels. You probably shouldn't be, to be honest. There's a security risk to that, just giving that to a random civilian, even if they are a licensed pilot or whatever. But boo on them. Like, until you have them there, you should be threatening people for that. That's stupid. That's dumb. There's probably more to the story, but it's whatever. I already took my points. We took our hug of flesh. Joe, don't act like I don't know that says dyslexia. Temporary flight restriction. Yes. FAA quick with the restrictions. Likely an emergency situation like this. I feel like it would be immediate. if the FAA had an interest in restricting flights. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Is like if the Coast Guard's operating in that area, they're going to shut that down just because they don't want mid-air collisions. Josh, I saw another news story on it, and the reporter interviewing some lady in the organization. She was ticking me off. Just kept talking in circles and blaming it on the pilot. Interesting. So there's some more. You guys are making fun of my list, Dexia. There's probably more to that story, I bet. I do think it's one of those situations where one Good Samaritan. Yeah. I totally get it. And that's kind of so there's an interesting discussion. We saw this in a Rookie episode where they had like a natural disaster and then random armed people started going out in the street, right? And I had the conversation that happened around that was the problem's not people wanting to get involved. It's there's no way of organizing or controlling it. It's a really, if you wanted to implement something like that, it should be a firefighter that's in that or like some sort of representative from the government, right? That's going to say, hey, I can communicate with the organizers in this. And if I can communicate with them, cool. Now I can utilize this asset. This happens all the time. We saw it with the side-by-side, right? Like I'm in a field and I need a side-by-side. And a random farmer's like, here's my side-by-side or here's my four-wheeler or whatever so that you can get around better. I have no issue with that. Or if, again, you're like canvassing an area to look for a missing person, we get citizens involved in that all the time. But typically it's like a 1-to-4 ratio. For every 4 citizens, you're going to have one, either a police officer or a firefighter or EMS, somebody that can kind of communicate with the bigger, broader area. And so, like, I think that's kind of my issue with it is like there is a way to approach this. You have to do it all ahead. It's hard to do on the fly, but you also see the same thing with like multi-jurisdictional operations. You should have, this goes back to the first assassination attempt with Trump, the fact that you had government agencies that had no way, allegedly, of being able to communicate with one another. They didn't have the same radio frequencies or whatever. Well, if that's the case, then 1-to-1 it, right? Like, hey, let me have one group of dudes where I have the Secret Service, the FBI, Homeland Security, local PD, and state agencies. All 5 of them are in a group, and their job is to make sure that everything's getting articulated to everybody at the same time. There is a way to do it. It's just a lot of idiots over there in the mountains that don't know how to do emergency stuff clearly. Like, it's not that complicated. As bad as the freeze was that happened back in 2019 and even 2020, I was a police officer at the time doing emergency services, and at no point did we ever feel overwhelmed with and we had to go do welfare checks, and there was places where our vehicles couldn't go, and so we would just work with other assets or citizens, right, to go sort out those issues. It's just a lot of dickheads doing dick measuring contests as opposed to being more concerned about doing the programmatic work of helping people. That really should be it. It wouldn't have been complicated for them to say, hey, will you consent to my organizational structure? That's probably not what happened. It's probably a bunch of arguing that happened back and forth, and it was ego more than anything. That's my guess.
Mayor, your car will not stop even when you hit the brakes.
We saw this one last week. They gave him a radio and frequencies. He was prior Leo. That is the one thing that susses me out, is if they gave him frequencies, that means that somebody was trying to work with him, and then one random dude stepped up and was like, no. That's kind of my beef, is the second you're being given radio frequencies to work on and operate in, or access to it, like that means somebody was working with him, right? Yeah, it's really just radio frequencies. Well, also you got to think too, if it depends. So like we had digital radios, so like a ham radio would have really struggled. We would have had to switch to ham frequencies to communicate with people with ham radios. Very few people have DRMS or digital radio. So there is some, but if he's flying a helicopter, he probably has a digital radio. That's my guess.
They were training the recruits to handle taser shots. Something unexpected happened.
Sir, put your dick away!
This guy he thought it didn't go off, and he turned it and tased the wrong guy.
Could
What
you
a
make a
D-bag.
mistake like that? This is
No.
why you should never be too confident, because when they were training the recruits to handle taser shots, something unexpected happened.
Sir, put your dick away!
He's so lucky that guy didn't take it in the face. Look at how high that taser probe ended up going. This guy's a dickhead for that. This is definitely Police Explorers, so I'm not going to put that on PD. I'm going to put that on Society. I'm going to -5. That'll be -40 for Society here today for fucking up a taser deployment. Imagine if that was a gun. Oh, aviation's primarily on AM, so yeah, it wouldn't be digital. Dude, the plot thickens on that. Ryan, chief complaining about the guy helping. He was probably sitting on his ass doing nothing. Ryan, I'm with you. Oh, I like that energy from chat. Captain and officer. Who's this? Dad jokes versus police and fire. Interesting. We're landing on something fun at least. Okay. Let's see. We'll score this here at home.
Luther. John Essep. Nice to meet you.
7 minutes.
Ready to roll? I am. Good luck to you.
You're going to get hosed down.
You're going to need it. All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Why did Officer Estep arrest a duck?
I don't know.
Because it was selling quack.
Ooh, okay.
That was pretty
All
good.
right, that's a good one. That's a good one. Do you know why God created police officers?
No.
So firefighters could have heroes.
I don't agree with that, but
Also very
good one.
good. Also very good.
If you roll up to a call of 2 vegans fighting, is it still a beef?
Oof. I'm gonna give Fire a point on that one. That is a rock solid dad joke.
No, I guess probably not.
Okay.
How does a mermaid wash its tail? It uses Tide.
That was better.
That doesn't count. That was a sneeze. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day.
That's a very good one. Damn it.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
You think it's R, but it's actually the C.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
That was very good. I'm going to give it to PD.
God. You button hooked me. What do you get when you cross a dinosaur with a cop?
I don't know.
Jurassic pork.
Oh, that was good. That was a roast. It's a pork roast.
All right.
That was kind of a low blow.
How do you know when a firefighter passed away?
I don't know.
When the remote falls out of his hand.
Damn. Okay, that was good too. Oh, I'm currently 3-2. Fire's still winning, but this is pretty good.
I mean, that's not funny. We don't have recliners. That is really good. What do you call a dog that can do magic? Labracadabrador.
Oh.
No, that's terrible. No.
All right. What does chaos stand for?
I don't know.
You and I are both like this. Chiefs have arrived on scene.
That's
That's okay.
That's more true than it is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I was interrogated over the theft of a cheese toastie. Man, they really grilled me.
Okay, I'm going to give a point to Cops because he said a cheese toastie, and I have no clue what the hell a cheese toastie is. And that's offensive. Is Sioux Falls, is this America? Is Sioux Falls America, or is that a Canadian term? I arrested a firefighter while he was on duty. Damn. I need to spill the beans.
Okay. What did the firefighters say when they crashed their fire truck into a tree?
I don't know.
Wow, that's got to be the fastest time we ever arrived to an accident scene.
Dang, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
I can say the
Also
same
true.
thing about a squad car.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what the loudest pet you can get is? A Trump pet.
That's terrible. No. That's not good. No.
How did the hipster burn his mouth?
I don't know.
He ate the pizza before it was cool.
That's good. Okay, this guy's cooking now. This guy's cooking.
That's a good one.
It's named after the Sioux tribe. Sioux tribe sounds kind of like people that took the reservation.
Okay, I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Dumb.
Okay.
No, that's not good.
Did you hear about the man who lost the left side of his body?
I don't think so.
The doctor said he's all right. The nurses said there wasn't much left.
Dang. I'm not giving him points for that, but that was at least creative.
Okay, why did the Clydesdale give the pony a glass of water? Because it was a little horse.
No.
All right.
I got a smart guy
All right.
to though.
You got that one.
I'll give him a point.
How do you know if there's a firefighter at your party?
I don't know.
He'll tell you.
The same applies to a cop, to be fair. Waffle iron toasted sandwich thing. That's a grilled cheesy or toasty or whatever the heck. South Dakota. Interesting.
There's enough truth to that, it's not even funny. Did you hear about the guy who invented lifesavers? They say he made a mint.
No.
Oh.
No,
Clever,
that's not
clever.
funny. No, that's not funny.
Why does Humpty Dumpty love autumn?
The season autumn?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Why he laughed at that?
That's not funny.
That's terrible. Someone wiped the wheels off of all the squad cars. Police searching. Ryan, that's good. I actually got a chuckle out of me. Oh, they're searching tirelessly. That's pretty good.
Two peanuts were walking down the street. One was assaulted.
Dumb. No. No. The fact that he laughed at that. Not funny.
So yesterday I was at the eye doctor, and I found out I was colorblind. Did you know that?
No.
Came to me out of thin purple air too.
That's also a terrible joke.
That one is funny. I'll take the point on that one. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles.
Okay. All right.
That's a decent joke.
Okay.
Still not giving points though.
What's brown and sticky?
Poop.
There's a lot of things brown and sticky, but I don't know.
A stick.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, I heard that one in second grade, I think.
When you fell
Wow,
off the dinosaur?
roasted.
Yeah, I was just going to give that one too. What's the best part about living in Switzerland?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but the flag is a big plus.
Oh,
That's pretty.
that's good.
That's
good.
clever. I'm gonna give him points on that one. That's pretty clever.
What did the policeman say to his belly button? You're under a vest.
He delivered that well. He delivered that
God,
well.
all right.
I'll give him that one.
I lost that one. Did you see they made...
Someone just said, Squirtle, what? Fafo said, I'm dead. Producer told him he had to laugh to keep the scores close. He can't say grilled cheese, or he can't do the punchline, so he has to say cheese toasty. I guess. Maybe.
Brown bales of hay illegal in Wisconsin? Because the cows weren't getting a square meal.
No. That's terrible. No.
So my wife, this last week, she started...
It's brown and sticky, Josh.
There's so much stuff in the house now, it's enough to make a man go crazy.
No, not a good joke. That was good, Squirtle. That was...
Okay. What do you call a fish with two knees?
I don't know.
Toonie fish.
That's good.
No, why'd you laugh at that?
Did you hear that we arrested the Energizer Bunny yesterday?
Nope.
He was charged with battery.
Why did the crab never share?
I don't know.
Because he was shellfish.
That's good.
That was bad.
Did you hear about the fireman who had 2 sons? He named them Jose and Joseby.
I was borderline problematic, dog. Hold on. The punchline is grilled, I guess. Still, though, cheese toasties unacceptable. One. What do you call a guy that has no arms, no legs, and likes to swim? Bob. I don't know.
That's not how we label them.
Next is done, Squirtle.
All right. Pleasure.
It was fun.
Great. Good. Yeah.
Hey, PD won. Let's go.
I should have won.
Okay. Well, there you go. So my score was PD7 Fire 5.
I'm shot!
Oh, wow. He's yelling.
To many scenes of.
Oh, we saw this one 2 weeks ago. So now we go. I second the next. Next will be a little bit of after party time. I'm going to grab a quick snack and then we're going to do some 5M server playing. I've had some of our Patreon people that did some cool work on getting us a 5M server. I'm going to help them with some testing for it, and I will answer questions in our after party. If you would like to join that, or you would like to make better recommendations for the videos that we watch in our lives, you can do so one of 2 ways. That is either through becoming a member here on our YouTube channel and or becoming a member on Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you get to join our Discord, and our Discord is where we do all that cool stuff. Bug Producer Juan for when you guys are going to get your next Officers React. And you don't have to bug me for when you get your new live, because I am always here and providing that. The next one will be on Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. That should be a good one. I think there's a lot of videos already on there. Best YouTubers at the Squirtle. Dog, I love you. But anyways, need to do a better job with helping find video. Please help us with finding better videos. That being said, I do want to thank my vigilantes. They have to look through what's, I'm sure, way worse videos because this was the best they could come up with. But shout out to them. It was good. I'm not mad about it. Bug me. You're stupid. Anyways, drop a like. We do this kind of stuff all the time. I think starting... Producer Juan's going to have to tell me they're going to allow for YouTube vertical lives, basically. So I might do Q&As on those for people. I'll probably pick a specific day. I'll make some announcements. We'll do it, or I'll just probably do a poll for when you guys want to do just a live Q&A session where we talk about stuff. I can't talk about certain things because it's YouTube, but I can on others. For every other conversation you want to have, like I said, join the Patreon group. Until next time, I love you guys. Peace. Josh, that just made me sad for the vigilantes. Oh my God. Emu ask Juan for an officer's react. I'm going to make everybody DM Juan for the officer's react. That's going to be a good time. You can't fire the